stream is on and hot. Sure, I've got you here. All right. Your story begins with a flash of very familiar red light. You're Scorch, and you are a well-known, respected agent within the Scorntech organization of Keres. Agents are in a really interesting place, compared to, regional managers who are responsible for territory and, assistant managers who are responsible for an individual project. You're really sort of the company's freelancer, fixer. You get called in when the situation is weird, uncertain, and in Keres, there's never a shortage of both of those things. So, in this burst of bright red, stunning light, you emerge onto what feels like a perfect spring day. The weather is warm but not hot. The air smells of sea salt and the distant rot of kelp. You can hear seabirds in the distance, and you materialize on polished stone. You're standing outside of the Scorntech franchise headquarters in the Northern Crossroads. And you know that your objective, having been sent here from Scorntech HQ down in Signal, is to meet up with Ravana Ka, the regional manager for this area, and learn about the project that you've been assigned to here.
Okay. So, exiting the portal, Scorch will send up a firebolt into the air, and say, "I have arrived. I am looking for Ravana Khan."
And you go ahead and fire that off into the air. Make me make me a perception check.
Wrong one.
There you go. Excellent. The nat 20 to kick you off is what we want. So nat 20 to start off your career. As you flick your head up and you're about ready to aim that firebolt, good thing that you looked up, because just above your head, maybe 5 degrees off by your reckoning, is an enormous stone aqueduct, the sort of branch of the Keresian aqueduct that you're very familiar with, down with its portion in Signal. This aqueduct is huge. It's like 40 feet wide at, like the narrowest part. And as you're about ready to fire the firebolt up, you're like, oh, crap. You aim just a little bit off to the side, and phew, the firebolt leaps up into the air, and you boom out your arrival.
And I stand there awaiting someone to show up.
Indeed you do. And as you do, grab the and as you do, takes maybe about 15 seconds or so, but you see a tiefling dressed in Scorntech red and black make his way out from one of the neighboring buildings and look over towards you. You see that he actually breaks his face into a grin and eagerly steps over towards you. Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. I'm Riley. I'm one of the portal sorcerers here. It's nice to meet you. I take it you're Scorch, huh?
Yes, I am Scorch. Good day to you, Riley.
Hey, it's nice to have you here. It's cool having like an actual like agent come out here for a project. Everyone's kind of been talking about it. Things have been quiet here for a couple of months, and it's nice to have a fixer here.
I am very excited to be here. I understand we have quite the situation.
Yeah, he's I've met some of the guys I think you're going to be keeping an eye on. They're an interesting bunch. That's a really nice way of putting it. You said you were looking for Ravana, right?
Yes, Ravanaka.
Oh, absolutely. It's just over this way. Follow me. And the tiefling goes ahead and directs you up through the franchise headquarters.
I think I need control of my token.
Behold, Scorch, you are now yourself. You have control. Excellent. Beautiful. As Riley goes ahead and makes you in, you see another trio of sorcerers, sitting on chairs, kind of like absent-mindedly playing with prestidigitation spells. They all kind of turn and give you a quick nod. This is Kylie, and this is Wiley. This is the other sorcerers here when we're doing portal projects. Specialists.
Good to meet you.
Hi.
You do. Oh, hello. You do fine work.
We try. They're awfully high-pitched voices for tieflings. You tend to think for yourself, but there seem to be a competent enough bunch. You're led into the main section, and this is the part that really gets you excited, because this is the beating heart of any Scorntech franchise, is the shop room. And as you're making your eyes around here, you're seeing all of the traditional goodies that a well-stocked Scorntech franchise is going to have. You see the little display of Ioun stones rotating around a bust. You go ahead and see a number of magical items. You see the quintessential reinforced bags of holding with the Scorntech logo like emblazoned on the back in fiery red. As you breathe in this, clean, kind of cindery air, like, it feels nice to be home. Yuan-Ti woman goes ahead behind the counter, gives you a bow, and Riley says, This is Scorch, and he's looking for Ravana. I've got it from here. He gives you both a quick little bow, and Riley exits to the north.
Thank you, Riley, and may the fire burn within your heart.
And with you as well! Gives you sort of like a retreating wave. Yes, you are Scorch, are you not?
I am the one.
Wonderful to have you. I am Kiyog. I am the undersecretary for this location. Give me just a moment. Ravana will be with you shortly.
Could you spell her name for me?
Absolutely.
And you said she's the what?
She's the undersecretary for this location. You see that as you look on her desk, she's got a pile of papers, stacked up, lots of, little fiddly bits of Scorntech paperwork that you're familiar with, don't like doing. Her bottom half is that of a snake. Her top half is that of a woman. She carries this very, elegant scimitar behind her, and you don't even need to make a roll for it. You know what a Yuan-Ti looks like.
Thank you. Was it Kiyog?
Kiyog, yes. So you can call her Ki. You may call me Ki. She gives you a smile with too many teeth.
Very well, Ki. Pleasure to meet you.
You as well. Can I get you anything? Any refreshments? Any tea, coffee, espresso, anything of the sort?
A iced glass of water would be perfect. It gets a bit hot here.
Indeed. Just a moment. And you see that she takes the little jar in front of her, shifts it off just a little bit, runs her hands across it for, make me an Arcana check. There you go, 15. Yeah, you know a conjure water cantrip when you see it. So, one of the nice things about Scorntech is that despite the, obvious predilection that everyone has towards fire here, kind of a neat opportunity to work with people with a diverse skill set. It's not just about fire. You've got a fair number of people with other elemental disciplines, arcanists, forge clerics, pretty much everything that a growing group like yours needs. She casts her conjure water and provides you this glistening cold little, it looks almost like a small porcelain cup, hands it over to you and says, "Enjoy, courtesy of the Scorn."
I drink it down with swiftness and
Ah, so perfect. May I have another?
She gives you a quick little blink and goes, "But of course." Does the somatic gesture again. Her hand darts out, rises, rotates, and fills the cup again.
and with this one, I just kind of pour it slowly on my head, cool myself down.
Ah, just perfect. Thank you.
As you do, Ravana makes his way in from the opposite room just in time to see you giving yourself the little sizzle bath there. Make me a flat charisma check. That would be a charisma save. If you just click the charisma stats on the leftmost side, that's going to be for a flat check. There you go. With an 18, as the steam kind of like psss, like sizzles off, you see the tall, imposing figure of this Rakshasa walk into the room, his tiger-like visage splitting into a broad smile, and goes, "That's what they say when they bring an agent in here. They bring the fire. Ravanica, it's a pleasure to meet you."
Ah, Scorch. Pleasure to meet you as well.
And he
Would you like a glass of water?
Oh, nothing of the sort. I'm more than capable of dealing with that myself if it were necessary. Key, I appreciate you taking such good care of our visitor here. She goes ahead and bows into a deep, ostentatious sort of bow, and Ravana extends a hand to yours. You do notice that the palm is on the wrong side, so there's a brief little moment of hesitation as you're like, not sure which way to grab it, but you figure it out and give him a handshake.
I give him a very awkward handshake with my wrist turned the opposite way to match his.
He seems like he's totally used to it. It seems like awkward handshakes are kind of his bread and butter. So, would you care to walk with me? I'd love to give you a little bit of a background about the project that you're going to be undertaking with us.
Ah, please. I've heard rumors, but nowhere near what I need.
Not a problem, not a problem. Are you hungry? Are you in need of anything? Can I provide you something while we walk? Is there anywhere you need to check in town?
I came fully prepared. Thank you, though.
Well, not fully prepared. Uncle Scorch has got some gifts for you. And you see that Ravana heads over to one of the neighboring tables and grabs the reinforced bag of holding that you see there. He takes it and goes, "Before we head out on our way, this is something I wanted to make certain that we handed over to you. Just a little package from headquarters for our agents." And hands you the reinforced bag of holding.
Oh, lovely. Now, will I need to return this like I have the other ones in my apprenticeships?
Well, we're gonna have to see how long this particular gig lasts. If you make your way back with the professor and things are copacetic, I don't see any reason why you'd have to return it. We'd be keeping you on retainer here for at least a couple of weeks. So let's play it by ear. The contents inside, of course, are yours as you see fit.
Fairly well. Understood. Now, more about this professor.
Yes, walk with me, walk with me. And the two of you both make your way out the eastern door of the location. Beautiful. So Ravana goes ahead and takes you on sort of a peaceful, meandering route around the northern crossroads. We'll say that you head up first to the... We'll say that you head to the west, past the night market. As you're walking by here, you see what looks to be this really cute open-air market. There's kind of a weird variety of sentient beings all hawking their wares. You see a couple of what looks like humanoid mushrooms that look like they've got some mushrooms of varying quantities for size. You see what looks to be like some sort of squiddly duck creature, a man with snakes for arms, these weird little fish people that are, selling these stinky herbs and slabs of meat. It's pretty much what you've grown to expect from a Parisian open-air market.
Those look like some fun guys. I'm talking about the fish.
Oh, they are. One of the things that you don't really encounter too much in this neck of the woods. The fishmen tend to keep by themselves off to the coast, but lately they've been bringing in a little bit more wares where they can sell them. Don't try to talk with them for too long, though. I've learned that they're sort of single-minded in their conversations. So, the professor, this agent that we're interested in commissioning. What do you know about the cities of brilliance, grandeur, and splendor?
Well, other than they seem to be the conniving magic hierarchy type, not much.
Nope. For what it's worth, that's a pretty decent assessment. We deal with the nations of brilliance as a matter of economic certainty. It's something where, as they continue to push forward magical development, we see the opportunity to work, hire, and commission them as necessary. As you can imagine, they've got a well-developed program, magical research and development. Now, one of the individuals that they've hired as of late was this gnome, going by the name of Nigel Gobsworth, Professor Nigel Gobsworth. Not certain if the professorship is an earned title or more of a moniker for himself, but as best as our scouts were able to determine, he originally came from the deep gnomes of the Knifehilt Mountains, hired on for an apprenticeship with brilliance. The man's a tinkerer, and a fairly good one at that. Talented at putting together some of the more unusual pieces of miniaturized technology that Brilliance had seen. And they hired him for a research grant, basically giving him access to the tools that he needed to develop, this miniaturization, most likely for the High Council of Brilliance. But here's what we know now, is he escaped to Keres. He has a platinum bounty on his head, well into the hundreds at this point. And Brilliance is going to be taking more and more aggressive steps to recover what they see as their lost property. Now, the interesting thing is that, unprompted, he seems to have walked into our location and offered to sell us whatever he develops, as long as it's under the Scorntech sponsorship and branding. We think that he's looking for protection. None of this makes sense.
Well, for starters, Keres is probably the best way to go when you're looking for refuge.
It is. And go ahead and make me either a history check or an arcana check, your choice. Beautiful. 21 in history. Right off the top of your head, yeah, this is definitely a place that people who are on the run from magical, censors, they end up in Keres quite often, because Keres is in its own little bubble of the ethereal and astral plane. It's one of the reasons, actually, why Scorntech takes such dedication to protecting this place, is that intruders who are used to being able to hunt ethereally or be able to just simply hop to the astral plane and, make their way through the filters, they can't do that in Keres. So you're dead on. You know that this is a common place for those of a wise magical persuasion to hide out. Ravana gives you a nod and goes, "This is what we've heard, and this is what we've expected. But why us, and why his choice of company?"
That is peculiar. Any idea on how long he's been here?
Not particularly long. That's seems that he caused a bit of a local stir with an instance regarding the wandering library. Now, you have some passing familiarity with the library, do you not?
Ah, yes, I have attempted research there.
Well, and indeed, Scorch, you do. One of the things that happened with you when you were a youngin, relatively speaking, a couple of years back, is that you followed up on some of these local legends of the Wandering Library, and even managed to briefly make your way inside at one point. The thing is that as you made your way around the library, it seemed pretty obvious to you that this was an illusion. And so, based on your own inability to buy into the fake reality created by the library, by the time that you tried to take a substantial rest, the library simply ejected you, and you woke up on the ground outside.
Yes, it was quite the strange place.
Well, I regret to inform you that that library is no more. The professor, within a matter of his first days of arriving to Keres, got himself into an adventuring group that managed to blow the thing sky high and capture the former master of the library and bring him back to groups unknown. So, the man is a killer, the man is an assassin, the man is a tinkerer, the man's a mercenary. None of this really makes any sense to us.
So what you're telling me is I need to figure out what kind of man the professor is.
That would be an accurate assessment, because the reality still holds that he is carrying around with him technology the likes of which we've never seen. And the fact that he's willing to sell it to us means that there are opportunities here if this is a wise bet and a safe investment. But until we can determine if this is a safe bet and a safe investment, we're going to put that in your hands. Make certain that the professor doesn't end up dead. Make certain that you can get to the bottom of as much about the professor as you can. And if you can go ahead and build a little bit of a relationship with him, and say that you have some kinship with him, the two of you can go ahead and feel free to collaborate. You've got access to the resources. But if he's still working for Brilliance, if he's a plant, if he's going to set us off,
I will burn him.
Yes! Precisely! Bam, bam! And Ravana goes ahead and stomps his staff onto the ground, and a little flare of fire comes off from his cloak. I knew I made the right choice when I hired you.
Fire and flame is always the right choice. For some, it's the only choice.
And as a individual comes out from the building that you've been walking your way up to, the lavender-skinned tiefling here goes ahead and gives you a bow and says, for some that is the only choice, but for others it is just one of many choices. I am Penelope Name. I am the keeper of records in the Northern Crossroads. It is a pleasure to meet you. Ravana gestures to her and says, "This is Pen Name. She's the keeper of our records here, and I want to make sure that she gives you the little bit of introduction with some of the locals here. I've got business that I'll be attending to, but I wanted to make certain that you got yourself off on the right foot here. So, Penn will be able to show you to your demi-plane and help you with any matters of transportation or logistics while you're in town.
I appreciate it, Ravana. To you, I hope the sun shines for many, many years.
Well, by my reckoning, we've got about 6 months until the skies are cloudy again, so hopefully we don't rush ourselves to the festival this year. You take care of your Scorch, you take care of yourself, and let me know if I can get you anything further. Just stop by the franchise. And he gives you a significantly less ostentatious bow than Key, and says, take care of yourself, and he makes his way to the south.
And you are Penn?
Yes, Penelope. You may call me Pen for short. But I am the keeper of records here at the Northern Crossroads. Work closely with Scorntech, honestly, as they are one of the more professional organizations here when it comes to handling their affairs. I wanted to go ahead and get you set up as well. The Scorn has taken additional accommodations for his agents in the Northern Crossroads. Accommodations have not really been adequate. I wish to set you up. So please, would you come into my office? Penelope goes ahead and takes you into this building. It's sort of an interesting one. Make me a quick perception check. 7? Not the best. You're kind of, taken in, kind of like absorbing the architecture for the first time. Things are kind of a little cleaner and pinker here than they are in Signal. Maybe there's like a different type of stone that they build with. But as your eyes kind of like dart around the room, you see a bunch of different banners hanging. You see the Scorntech logo. You see the banner for the Keres City Council. You kind of note with a little point of annoyance. You even see like some local 7 like banners up there, which is it's always kind of nice to see those guys. But it seems like Penn works with a lot of different groups here. Probably some kind of mediator or negotiator herself. While agents have been here in the Northern Crossroads, they have been set up with a Scorn demi-hostel key. So rather than staying at one of the local establishments, this is a 2 times per day demi-plane that you will be able to access for rest and storage of your goods. And she goes ahead and hands you over this long red polished, looks like a quartz crystal.
And this is how I access the demi-plane.
Mm-hmm. You can go ahead and add a Scorntech demi-hostel key to your inventory.
And how do I do that?
So pull up your character sheet, and down where you see on equipment, you'll have a little plus and a little lock right at the bottom of your list.
I think I found it.
Yeah, so go ahead and hit the little plus.
Done.
There you go. And then for the weight over there, you can go ahead and put 0.5. So, it's like half a pound. It's, it's hefty, but it's not like huge.
Now, does this take a magic word to activate?
This is simply a matter of arcane focus. Direct your concentration towards the artifact for 1 minute, and the demi-plane will open itself to you. While you are there, it is safe to yourself and yourself only. You are the only one who will attune to the frequency of the room. You can also bring up to 1 guest inside, but you cannot bring in additional beyond that.
Are there any other restrictions I need to know?
It's not really the biggest room, so if you're trying to like store in it, like if your +1 is like a giant elk or something like that, you might have a harder time fitting them in. But
Preposterous! A giant elk! No one would ever be a giant elk.
you never know. I don't know if you've dealt with the Coven of the Coast too much, but they've got their fair share of animal companions. Of course, you are Scorntech, so I do not mean to be presumptuous, but it's a standard operating procedure to include that asterisk.
Uh, Understood.
So while you are in town, can I make any introductions for you? I understand that you will be, hopefully here for a slightly longer period of time, but, if you needed to make any connections with, for instance, the mayor, any of the shopkeepers, any of the, heads of the clergy in town, I would be happy to make that introduction for you.
I am a simple dragonborn. I don't feel the need to meet anyone beyond Scorn Tech and my objective.
Absolutely. With this in mind, then, I want to give you just a little heads up about the professor that you are dealing with, as I've actually had the opportunity to deal with some of the professor's compatriots, and Ravana filled me in on some of the details. The one for you to keep your eye out for is an individual known as Shmeely. He is a lizard man, sort of a darker, scaly sort of complexion. He is a very interesting sort. He seems to be the source of a great deal of consternation lately. Certain individuals who have dealt with this Shmeely fellow seem to find him not necessarily hard to deal with, but a bit of a loose cannon, shall we say. I give you this suggestion that if there is someone that I do not entirely understand of the compatriots to the professor, this Shmeely individual is by far and away the most concerning.
Shmeely. Has a good ring to it.
Indeed, it does. He is a sneaky fellow, but he also seems to like to eat things. So keep an eye out for his teeth.
I will keep an eye out for his teeth.
Excellent. In the meantime, I would humbly offer any other suggestions or advice that you would need. Happy to assist you with maps, introductions, any paperwork. I really sort of specialize here in keeping facts and records of things in this town. So when it comes time for shipments or travel, negotiations, customs, trade, do not be afraid to reach out to Penelope Main.
Well, speaking of records, have you had any shipments lately of metallic gears, little trinket parts, especially those from Brilliance or outside businesses?
I myself am not aware of these shipments. However, I would say that there has been a black market trade through the Growth Armada of late. I believe the Shmeely is affiliated with them. With this in mind, there have been reports of the use of the crafting area to the north, which I believe is Mayor Asima's locale, Mayor Claw Asima. So if you would like to go there and speak to her further, she may be able to give you more specifics on these sorts of things if they have been used for construction.
The Growth Armada, who are they?
The Growth Armada, they are actually, make me a history check real quick. 11. GA, you've heard about them before, but you also have a relatively short period of consciousness in the big things. What's it been? Only like 6 or so years that you can remember back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is that Growth Armada, they're kind of on the outs. you remember them being one of the members of the city council, sort of like a legalized thieves guild sort of thing. But when it came time for the last election, they actually, I think it was just last year, you think? They were kicked out and replaced by Local 7. So Local 7, the Wizards Union moved in and kicked out the Thieves Guild. You're not super familiar with a lot of them. They're kind of like the seedy underbelly of Keres versus Scorntech, where you're like, the gleaming hats, so to speak. But Growth Armada, yeah, they're kind of like the thievy black market types. If like God forbid you needed to get yourself like dark artifacts or like some cheese or something like that, you could probably talk to them and get hooked up.
And Penelope, where might I find the Growth Armada?
Well, with the Growth Armada, I would suggest going to one of the bars in town. There are a couple of individuals that I know that are actively affiliated. Most of the Kenku in town have some sort of affiliation with the Growth Armada. Steve the Bard, although he is a deeply exhausting personality to speak to, and I advise that you avoid it if possible. And I would say just in general, making some connections over at Greg's Grog, the large bar to the north of the Undersquare here.
Okay. Greg's Grog. Well, thank you for the tip. I have some investigating to do. I need to know where this professor has been and will be.
But of course.
Any hints for that?
I do believe that if the professor was staying in town and did not have access to his own demiplane, I believe that he would most likely be staying in the Safe Passage. That would be to the northeastern area of the Crossroads.
Thank you. And for the free companies, where might I find them?
The free companies, I would say actually, free companies will be all over the place. It will be a question of, let's see here, who's a free company in town? Well, the Hull of Boats, they're sort of independently operated, so they're on the Undersquare. The Safe Passage is also a free company's affiliation, so they are independently operated. And then you have the Velvet Hammer and the Linen Bridle, the bar and stable. They also are free company affiliated. Besides that, it really sort of... and Hair Trigger to the south. Hair Trigger, and I believe his daughter is free company affiliated. So there's a fair few free companies people here. If you needed me to like connect you with a representative, I could, but you know how they work. It's all sort of like a Chamber of Commerce thing, local businesses.
Yes, indeed. Well, I guess I'll be off. There are some things I need to see to.
Absolutely. It was Scorch, was it not?
Yes, Scorch.
Scorch, it is...
Pleasure to meet you, Penelope.
And a pleasure to meet you as well. She goes ahead and cracks you a smile and goes ahead and gives you like this, like, kind of very respectful but a little stilted bow as you start to make your way out.
I give her a wink, and a flame sparks from my eye that I close.
Make me a persuasion check. What did I come up with? 17 persuasion? She definitely doesn't not smile.
Perfect.
She goes ahead, you see the thin lips go ahead and kind of just ever so slightly tilt. She kind of gives you a little, like, thin smile. But, the little flame darts off your eye, and you make your way.
And like a flame, I flicker out and leave.
Indeed you do. Yeah, and as you're out here, it's about midday at this point. So, the sun's like comfortably overhead. Temperature's still, not too hot. There's a really pleasant sea breeze that's sort of wafting over and taking that surface heat down a notch. Um, so yeah, for what you'd like to do next, based on the tips you've gotten, tell me what you're trying to do, and happy to make you an investigation check.
Um, First off, I would like to visit. Um, let's start with safe passage in and hostel. Start there. Find out where he's sleeping, if he is sleeping here. It was mentioned that it's operated by free companies, so I would like to investigate more on who exactly is running it and if they have any dealings with uh, the growth armada or any dealings with brilliance as far as trade and communication goes.
Absolutely.
Secondly, definitely going to want to go to Grog's, Greg's Grog, and just feel out for any growth armada there, because I feel like if the professor is being sneaky, he's probably dealing with the other sneaky people.
Mm-hmm. And a fairly accurate assessment therein. So just a moment while I go ahead and totally do no sleight of hand whatsoever.
I am looking at the center of the town, so I don't see anything that you're doing if you're doing something.
Perfect. And that's the way, I like it. Just a quick sec here to go ahead and set this particular room up. Oops. Not the right button. There we go. This is the right button. All right. With about 20 minutes of walking and quick referencing of the map that you've got along with you, you make your way over to the safe passage. It's on the northeastern part of the North Crossroads. It seems to be a relatively cheery building. It's one of the taller ones and wider ones. Seems like it's about 3 stories. It's got a pleasant front, the yellow and black awning that goes ahead and indicates it as a free company's building. And from the inside, you smell the faint scent of cooking food.
And with that, I walk in and would take a seat uh, after first initially walking in, just kind of glancing around the room before I take a seat, feeling out the people in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Give me a perception check. 15. Yeah, you walk in and this is a pretty motley assortment of characters that you see here. Walking in, your eyes immediately latch onto the large, like, ape creature across from you. Make me, actually, to get a vibe off this, make me an Arcana check, too. That dice was a freaking emotional roller coaster. 18,
Yep.
18 Arcana. Yeah, you are a worldly scorn sort. You've been around, and you know that seeing things like demons and fiends and celestials all like under the same roof. That's what happens. Like, Keres has got a really big tourism thing going on here, and devils and fiends and demons, celestials and weirdos are all part of that. You notice that seems to be a Mother Balgura stopped to the opposite side of you. This sort of like ape demon dragging her one set of her knuckles across the ground, the other hand feeding what looks to be like some sort of diced up slop into the like moaning little demon child that's next to her. There's also this big critter. It might be like some kind of like a slot or something like that. You're not totally sure. You also see a couple of celestials, a diva and a couple lesser celestials to the south of you. Nobody seems to be all that tense with each other, though. Everyone's sitting around their tables, all doing their own business. But you do notice what looks like an orcish gentleman sitting at the table just to the right, who seems to hail you as you walk in.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Safe Passage Inn. I'm Thaddeus. How may I be of assistance for you today?
My name is Scorch.
Scorch!
I,
welcome to the Safe Passage. It's lovely to have you here. Will you be staying the night or just simply here for one of our fine meals?
No meals, but I am quite thirsty.
But of course, what can we get you? Only the finest of mediocre drinks here. None of the last minutes, but we've certainly got the late harvests if you want it.
Well, that does sound appetizing. However, a water on ice.
Water on ice. Aha! A fascinating pick for you, sir, but we'll get it done. Oi, chum!
You see that the orc flips his head around and yells to the back room, and a smaller orc, this one with like one of those awkward like Renaissance like bowl cuts to him, kind of like runs up and looks around the edge and goes,
Right, Thaddeus? Get our guest here a glass of ice water and do it post-haste.
Right away, Thaddeus, you want any liquor with that?
No, he doesn't want any liquor. I'll tell you if he wants any liquor.
Oh, right, on it. And Chum goes ahead and scoots himself over there.
Right, make yourself comfortable, grab yourself a seat, happy to help you.
As he was talking, I kind of walk up nonchalantly to the Balgara here.
Excuse me. I believe your child, is that correct?
What language are you attempting to speak to the Balgura?
Common. Because I think that's about all I know. Common and dragon.
You go ahead and try to speak to him, the critter in common, the Balgura, and the Balgura kind of like gives you a quizzical look, kind of like tilts her head to the side. You feel kind of a knocking on your consciousness, kind of like this bunk bunk bunk, as though somebody is trying to communicate with you telepathically.
I let it in, as I am probably familiar with such thing.
You feel this very large, hot, demonic entity just kind of like fill your imagination.
I send a, not in words, but in emotion, saying, I would like to heat up the child's food. I believe that is why she is being so fussy about the food. They might have served it too cold.
The Balgara goes ahead and kind of like tilts her head, and she sends back flame, food, child, love child. And you get like the sensation of this mother Balgara going ahead and like cuddling this like disgusting pile of flesh in her arms, and it's almost adorable.
And with that, I will... I have a spell called Dancing Lights, but it's actually Dancing Flame.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of spiced up a little bit, and simply set 3 dancing flames underneath the bowl as I hold it up, and attempt to heat it, possibly using control flame to make it stronger or less strong, depending on what I feel needs.
Absolutely. And as you do, you go ahead and summon this trio of these small, flickering, dancing flames beneath your hands. So tell me, how do you invoke your dancing flames? What's the process by which Scorch manifests some fire like that into this world?
Such simple fire, he makes 3 quick snaps. One with 2 with a glove, 1 with a gloved hand, and 2 with a non-gloved hand.
Beautiful. And these quick little snaps, the fire leaps together and begins almost like stacking itself up here, delightfully toasting away the child's food. And you see it kind of like turns and like greedily starts gobbling down the steamy hot food. The Bargula leans over towards you, and a long arm comes down and kind of pats you on the top of the head.
I blush a little bit.
The same mental image of like the mother Balgura like picking up the child and like squeeze hugging it now happens to you, where she's like, want hug, squeeze hug you. Appreciation, I think, would be the emotion.
Oh boy, you sure seem like you've made yourself a friend there awful quick. Here you are, sir. Your glass of ice water.
Ah, perfect, thank you.
Chum
And
comes
I, excuse me, as he hands it to me, I chug it very, very swiftly again, and start crunching on the ice. And you see little flames kind of come out of my mouth as I'm crunching on it.
Oh yeah,
and some steam.
It's got that kind of like dry ice look to it, where it's just like as you're crunching on the ice, like the ice is going through like states of matter just a little too quickly. So just kind of like, like every time you hear the crunch, and also like this vaporize.
That's a mighty fine trick there, Mr. Golden, sir. Let me know if I can get you anything else.
And he kind of like scoots back off a little, like awkwardly back to his room. The imp that is also at the table kind of like turns over, looks towards you, and goes,
That was a nice little thing you did there. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you as well. My name is Scorch. And yours?
Hello, Scorch. My name is Agatha. Welcome to the North Crossroads. Thank you for helping this kind woman out.
When I see a child with cold food, there's nothing I can't help myself. I just must warm it.
Yes, it's an interesting situation here. Do you have a moment? I would like to tell you the situation with these fine family, this fine family here.
Of course.
This is supposed to be a family outing with them. I was sent. I see you wear the robes of Scorntech, and I often work with them. I'm a renter imp. If those need to go ahead and be summon themselves a familiar protector for these sorts of occasions.
the imp's name is Agatha.
Thank you.
Yes. So the interesting thing is that the mother here, I have been traveling with her for quite some time now, and her husband is late. He was supposed to be traveling down from the United Dales of Dale, making his way down the Wetdale River to Keres, and he has not arrived now for several weeks. I do begin to fear quite significantly for his health and well-being, and from what I've been able to gather, there are other tales of disappearances lately of those who have been coming to this town. May I ask you, if you are out and exploring, if you hear tales of people disappearing or individuals, families, Bulgaras disappearing, would you please kindly keep an ear out for this tale and return with word back for us?
I will certainly do such. But my heart burns bright for missing people. Sometimes the memories we hold, they flee from us like a flame. If I hear such tales, I shall follow them.
Thank you. We will be here for the foreseeable future here. Just keep me informed if you should have any updates. Thank you.
And the little imp like flutters her wings away.
Before you go, Agatha,
Yes.
I'm curious. Have you seen a gnome? I need a glass of water, one sec.
you need another glass of water? 1 second. Chum goes ahead and rushes back, gets you another thing of ice water. Oh, here you are, boy. Have you been drinking already, sir? Normally, if you're drinking that much, you're asking for water already. Must be one of them Goldusa's things. I'll be on my way. Actually, gonna get myself a fresh drink as well.
Sorry, I was speaking IRL. I needed water.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with letting them both cross over.
Exactly, but I am back.
Beautiful.
If you could repeat that, I apologize.
Oh no, Chum went ahead and brought you another glass of water.
Thank you. So,
Yes,
I was speaking of the unknown fella.
yes, little gnome. I have seen someone matching that description. Shorter, carries a staff with him. Yes, actually, he's been here every morning having breakfast.
And he travels with a party. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, indeed. I've actually interacted with a couple of members of the group. They seem to be a nice enough sorts. You know, a little standoffish, but it also seems like they're dealing with important matters on their own accord.
Well, I'll be around. If you can do me a favor, I'll be sure to do you and your friends here a favor. Keep an ear out and an eye out for these tales. If you will simply keep an eye on them for me, especially the small one.
Make me a persuasion check.
One second.
Got something. Seeing if you got some fancy.
I have forceful presence, which lets me have advantage, but I have to choose before I make the roll.
Use your understanding in your favor. When you do a check, you can do so with advantage. You can do so with advantage. So you've made the roll. I will let you go ahead and absolutely crank up the forceful personality here. You know, I did not say if it succeeded or failed yet, so you may certainly take that advantage. Much better. Much better. So, just tell me, Scorch, when you are turning up the charm, when you are turning on the heat, how does that forceful presence manifest itself? So, you know, at first you're trying to, like, win this imp over, but you realize that, you know, pretty quickly here, this imp's got a lot of the answers that you're looking for. So how do you go ahead and turn up the charm to win the imp on over?
I'd say the air around me becomes thick and hard to breathe. Sweat pours from my gleaming brow. A small flame dances in my eye as I stare deeply into Agatha's corneas.
And
a small smile comes across my face.
And you see these beady black little eyes give like a little blink, 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 blink back up at you, and then it's like,
Actually, I'll do you one better. You need to find the gnome, right?
Yes.
well, the imp, baff, goes invisible.
You see...
Hello?
Oh yeah, oh, no, I'm still here. You see, this is one of the perks. I'm pretty sneaky here. I saw the map that they were looking at. earlier in the day at breakfast time. I'm curious. Sorry. So, let's do this. If you bring me along, I'll help you out. Yeah. I'll go ahead. I'll be your familiar for this, and that way, if you need to like sneak up on the professor or anything, we can just work with each other. You know? How does that sound?
I would like to roll. Where is it?
Insight check. Seems legit. Definitely something where this imp seems like he's been, hanging out, and you've definitely like the flaming eye routine definitely won the imp over. Actually, make me an Arcana check here real quick. You're just having all sorts of rolls. 21. You know full well that imps are actually completely immune to fire. So the fact that you're going ahead and showing off some of your cool little fire tricks here, it's basically like saying, like, hey, buddy, you looking for somebody to team up with?
Perfect.
I think that's a good proposal, Agatha.
Oh boy, this is gonna be great. Well, especially too, I haven't really been,
Like reappears behind you.
haven't really been, getting around a lot. I've kind of had a, it's been a boring couple of weeks here. Not gonna lie. So I'm just excited to get back out and about in town. Oh boy. Let me go ahead and let me tell the mother here that I'll be accompanying you. And then anything you need me to do, we can go ahead and we'll get a little pact set up here. No problem.
Perfect. And you mentioned a map.
Mm-hmm,
How
yes.
good are your survival skills? Understanding the way of this land.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I saw the map. I know it's on the coast. Might have to get a little lucky with some of the additional details of it, but I will be able to guide you to where I saw the professor headed this morning.
Well, that's a start. But I'll need a bit more. You speak with the mother here. I shall return when I am prepared to leave. There are still people I need to speak with.
Absolutely. You take as long as you need, and then I will be in touch. You'll be in touch. Yes. Looking forward to this. I'll see you soon.
And the imp goes ahead and flutters on over to the gorilla mother while her child continues like munching on the tasty hot food, kind of smearing as much of it on its face as actually is getting into the mouth. It's sort of a wretched sight, but kind of cute.
As I turn to walk away, I'll use prestidigitation on the baby, and small little flames will come across the spots on the mouth where the food is just kind of smeared away. The flames will just purge it, kind of like one of those firecrackers, those snakes,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Oh yeah, or
kind
like you light your sweater on fire and the little little forest fire thing happens like that, like burns off the lint. Oh yeah, and you do that, and it's just sort of this little like sizzle, and it like awkwardly feels its own face, and immediately slathers more food onto it.
Well, I did what I could.
The mother gorilla give me one more insight check. 19 insight. The mother gorilla is just like, aw, little tyke. She goes ahead and starts like rubbing her gigantic palms all over his head.
All right. You have a good one, Scorch. I'll see you this evening then, right?
Yes, indeed. We shall very likely leave later tonight.
Beautiful. I'll see you there.
See you very soon.
All right, and you are you depart from the safe passage. Thaddeus goes ahead and gives you a little hail on your way out. Is like, right. So, where are you trying to get to? I mean, you didn't really buy anything, but you also only kind of just got water. So just sort of say it's a fine how do you do there, Scorch, I think it was. But where are you heading to next in town?
I hear Greg's grog has some very refreshing water. You see, I am always a bit thirsty, and trying the different aquas around the city is one of my quest, if you would.
Ah, right. Well, if you're gonna be going to Greg's, I would say you're gonna find more than water there. Do yourself a favor, especially for you, get yourself a shot of their fire spirits. Think they'll go down quite nice with you.
I might do that. However, you are aware liquor is very flammable. I have a somewhat urge to burn.
Oh, did I say liquor? Sorry, I meant to say spirits, fire spirits.
Now that might be just what I'm looking for.
There you are, I knew it. Right, have a good time. You want to get to Greg's Grog, just head to the Under Square, and it'll be the big bar on the northwest side. Look for the yellow and green awnings there, the GA colors.
And you make your way out. Boop. Port you the rest of the way there. Bam.
Perfect.
All right. And as you enter Greg's Grag, make me a perception check. 18 perception. 18 perception is enough that you, being a seasoned Parisian, don't actually doesn't actually fade out of your view. As you walk your way in, you are in Greg's Grog. It is your classic sort of like seedy looking dive bar. There's all sorts of patrons. It's kind of early in the day for people to be heavily drinking, but you pass your eyes around and you see a couple of figures. There's this Black Dragonborn who's casually chugging down a little ale. You see this gold-armored, undead-looking woman who's quietly drinking by herself, seems very lost in thought. There also, it seems it looks like maybe like a cat with like bat wings and a duck are also up on the back bar there. They're kind of just like hanging out, doing their own thing. Your eyes kind of like pass over them, but they seem like they're pretty preoccupied. And with an 18 and you being a native Parisian, you are able to notice the purple-clad member of the Rising Tide over in the corner, sweeping up a corner of the establishment. Immediately, your detector goes off to be careful about what you say. Because if there's one thing that anyone involved in Scorn Tech knows is that you can't really trust anything said of a member of the Rising Tide not to just kind of make its way around town.
And they're just sweeping in the corner.
Yep. Make me a history check real quick.
I remember I don't like them.
Yeah, you definitely don't like them. And with the 16, you know that that's kind of their MO. Part of the way that they get into so many places is that they always purport, like, their ministry out in the world is basically, like, being humble cleaners. It's like bringing that sort of, like, basically, like, being humble servitude, like, janitors in the world. But that's also one of those things where, like, they just disappear into the background because they're so freaking ubiquitous and, like, hard to pay attention to, that people just stop noticing them. So you're keen enough eyed at this point to know that that is definitely a member of the Rising Tide over in the corner, and even though he's doing his job and seems like passively sweeping things up, ears are everywhere.
And with that in mind, I cast Fireball. Just kidding.
Oh, you certainly could if you felt like it.
Yellow's not yet. Yet.
I mean, whenever you click on those die, you just let me know.
Okay.
I'm completely down to start off the campaign with a diplomatic incident.
I will sit here, kind of leaned up against the bar, and as I walk in, wave the barkeep over.
Absolutely. And as you do so, I'll say that with the 18 in perception, you notice that the member of the Rising Tide is paying you really no attention in the corner there. The woman sitting opposite of you also is like actively ignoring you. Probably for good reason. Make me a quick insight check. 6 insight. You don't know what her deal is, but she looks, getting a better look at her here, she looks real fucking scary. Like, half of her face looks like something horrible happened to it, like necrotized. She's got, like, an eye patch covering half of her face. And the other half is, like, almost, like, kind of well put together, but it seems like the half of whatever's happened to this woman is pretty gross. The barkeep makes his way over to you, and up walks this kindly-looking Goliath man, going ahead and sort of polishing a stein in his hand, and goes,
Right, what can I get you?
I would like a glass of ice water. And you know what? I heard you have a great fire spirit here. The spirit of fire is always with me, but it never hurts to add a bit.
Right, it's, you're new to the Northern Crossroads then, are you?
I am.
Well, I'm Greg, and you're at Greg's Grog. So you're in for a treat here, because every spirit here was distilled by my wife, Murder Greg. She's a lovely one, and she does the finest spirits in town, I'll tell you that. So let me get you an ice water, right? And, a fire spirit. I like the sound of that one much better. Anything else? Get you some nuts or something like that? Some sprack to chew on?
Just make that 2 glasses of ice water.
Oh, all right. Fancy man. Get you going in here just a second.
and he goes ahead and makes his way, talks to the gold-armored woman for just a second, who kind of, like, raises a hand and sends him on his way. And Greg starts making his way on up. The gold-suited woman goes ahead, leaves a couple of gold pieces on the table, and starts to head out the front door.
As she starts heading out, I would like to cast Prestidigitation, and simply make the sign of GA in front of. Let's see. Yep,
Okay.
10 feet. So as she starts standing up, I would like to kind of put GA on the table next to her.
Sure, sure.
Kind of with a flare of fire, and that turns into ash.
Now, so as she's starting to get herself up from the table, you go ahead and kind of burn that little GA. Let me see if I can get that in there. Kind of sear it into the table with a little flaming mark. You see that her eyes kind of flick down, flick up to you. Well, the one eye at least. And this time you go ahead and lock eyes with this woman. Well, let's put it this way. Would you be doing anything to actively not be trying to make eye contact with her?
No, I would look her dead in the eye.
Cool. Make me a wisdom saving throw.
Wonderful.
With a 6, she locks eyes with you, and in this moment, you are stricken with a very, very intense fear. It's the kind that even though you run so hot, the blood in your body just briefly flashes as cold as the ice you were chewing on. And as she looks into your eye, the sense of death comes off of her and then recedes just as quickly as it appeared. She looks over to you, this time passively, and says, I don't talk to strangers.
Well, we don't have to be strangers. My name's Scorch. Why don't you have a seat?
She actually stands up, starts making her way, and says, you should be much more careful who you're making eye contact with, contender. And she makes her way out the front door.
And I just kind of murmur under my breath very quietly, contender. And I'll cast Prestidigitation to make the GA go off the table.
Indeed you do. Make me a history check real quick. See if you know what contender means.
I know what it means, but I definitely know what it means, actually.
Definitely know what it means. So with a 22 in history, you suddenly put 2 and 2 together here. You've often heard legends that powerful Keresians are very reticent to make eye contact with each other. And you know that a huge part of that is that people who have, well, everyone argues about where it comes from. You know, Scorntech believes that it's, this inherited power. The crashing waves believe that it's a handout from their god. But essentially that once you start on the path to becoming what you know as a badass, people generally call contenders. So the contenders are basically the people who strive to become, with a nat 20, know the whole freaking thing. Contenders strive to become the champions of the water god. At the festival, the yearly cycle of destruction, commences at its end. The citizens of Keres defend themselves against the coming onslaught of the air elementals, and the leader of them is granted incredible powers by the water god, the sound of 1,000 crashing waves, to defend the city. Of course, that is not always the case. There's kind of been a hit or miss record over the years that, some people don't really like talking about. And you don't even necessarily have to be a devout either. I mean, there's a reason why, people call them contenders, but, the real, Scorntech people call them badasses, because it's honestly what you are. You do not... This is the first time, though, that anybody has called you outright as a contender. And especially this is the first time that you've made that kind of eye contact with somebody and had it kick in. And I will say, too, with a 22 in history, you know that in that moment that you made eye contact with this person, the two of you accidentally had a moment of stop time. Only she was in control of it, and you weren't.
Lovely.
So the individual that you just interacted with there is most likely a contender herself, and much further along on her path to becoming a champion than you yourself.
Great.
So yeah, she goes ahead and makes her way out of the building, but you'll also say that with a 22 in history, the fact that she scared the shit out of you is probably a best case scenario here. There's been, tales of, jealous contenders who, try to, isolate and murder their opposition so that they have, less difficulty when it gets to festival season. So the fact she's, standoffish could just as well be, a self-defense thing, This is a weird bunch. It's like you wanting to be in the NBA.
Okay.
Also, did I happen to hear the blessing and invocation of a skitter cat?
No.
Oh,
Maybe.
wasn't the cat? I could have sworn I heard a little kitty noise in the background.
There was probably one, but you were talking and I was listening to that, and I have headphones on.
No
But
worries.
the two of them, I've let them run around for like the last hour now because Papuski got home, and they've been doing really well. So I'm not too worried at the moment since he's here.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Also, I'll say for anything future, just hit /W and DM, and that'll go ahead and make sure that's a whisper, because otherwise, if like somebody went back into the logs to like check a roll or something, they could find that.
/W.
Space DM. So that's a /whisper, and that lets you go ahead and send a whisper to somebody without everyone else seeing it. But if you whisper somebody else, the
That's
DM can see it.
DM can see everything.
So yeah, the fact that this very terrifying individual just went ahead and called you a contender, you feel this little like chill go down your spine. This time not like fear, but more a tingle of excitement. So perhaps rather than cold, let's call this lightning. Yes, I can see this.
Perfect. I had to type in Myrna.
That works. It's also here. So if you do WDM, yeah, test. Oh, is it said unable to find a player or character?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can always do /Myrna because that will also me.
Perfect.
Excellent. So you, as you're sitting there, this significantly taller Goliath woman comes over to you, carrying a tray with 2 glasses of ice water and a shot of what looks like this swirling, like, red arcane solution. And she looks down at you, you know, her being all of like 9 feet tall, her head almost starting to brush the top of the ceiling here, and she goes,
Are you the one who ordered the fire spirit?
Yes, and the 2 ice waters. I assume you are Murder.
Yes, I'm Murder Greg. It is lovely to meet you. You're Scorch, my hubby told me.
and she goes and places the glasses down next to you.
Yes, that is the name.
Well, it's lovely to make your acquaintance here. I can tell that a dragonborn as yourself would go ahead and know a little bit more about the fires out here, so I hope you'll find the spirit to be to your liking.
Here's to hoping. How much do I owe you for this?
The fire spirits are a little bit more expensive, but who made the recommendation for you to come here?
See, I am traveling all over the town looking for ice water, trying different types, and to tell you the truth, I heard it on the street that the
Well,
fire spirit was the best.
well, they're certainly not telling you any lies then. They're really quite good. And I'll tell you too, this water comes straight from the aqueduct. So if you're trying to get yourself any blessings of the water god, you know, it's still got the little residual magic in it. None of it's conjuration shite here.
Wonderful. Now, hopefully it pleases the taste buds and soothes the fire inside of me.
Most certainly will. Is there anything else I can help you with? We're more than happy to, you know, point a new guest to our town in the right direction.
Yes, there is.
Right.
Have you seen a small man, gnome, in fact, possibly carrying little trinkets and gadgets around in a party of 5 or so?
Oh, I take it you mean the professor.
That is the one.
Indeed, I know exactly who you're talking about. In fact, he's sort of been the talk of the town around here. You know, he and his little band of weirdos came in here a couple of nights back, had themselves some drinks, got themselves together into a party, and all of a sudden, all this strange shite's been happening all over town.
That is interesting. Any idea where he went, or if he may be on a quest of sort, who I could maybe inquire about that?
Well,
Make me a persuasion check. 15 persuasion, pretty good. Oh, that +6 is tasty. Nice. Oh, you've got some good throws. Yeah, 15 persuasion. She goes ahead and kind of raises an eyebrow and kind of like looks to the side, like kind of scans around the room, kind of like looks back over to you and goes,
Alright, keep this one little quiet here, because you got your little peepee friend over there. But, you know Mary Keener?
Mary Keener. No.
Mary, right, she's the head of the Growth Armada. And she was just in town a couple of days ago, right? There's been all this shit about an air elemental that got loose. Attacked a bunch of local 7. It's been a bunch of weird shit going on over with that. But Mary Keener in town, oh, that's saying something, you know? The boss doesn't really come around unless some, shit's really hit the fan, you know? And so here's the thing is, you hear rumors about, things going around. Mary Keener's got a contract out for a thing over at the Missing Ministry. It's this ruin off on the coast. Heard about it. Steve the Bard came in, was asking, trying to get himself a crew together, go explore the ministry. Said that Keener had set him on it. So, if your friend, the professor, has been getting him into all this sticky GA business, and shit sure seems like he has, because he's been coming here ordering drinks, turning himself into a fire elemental, getting all rowdy. Quite likely, he's over at the Missing Ministry on a gig with Keener.
Thank you. And I guess here I hand her 3 gold.
Oh, well, this is quite nice of you. I'll have to go ahead and call you Scorch the Golden, is what we'll do.
Well, it does fit the color now, doesn't it?
It does. Well, Scorch the Golden, I appreciate you, inquiring about the folks around town here. You seem to be a reliable sort, and we don't want any problem with the agents now, do we? So, you take care of your business here and let me know if I can get you a fresh drink.
Will do.
I down one of the glasses immediately as she's watching me, and then I finish it as with the fire spirit.
beautiful. Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy.
Oh man, it's awesome. This fire spirit that's being put down, it is cinnamon, it's like ginseng, it's got like these faint little notes of like honey and like this like whiskey burn to it. It's like a summer bonfire in a single shot, and it goes down super smooth. You feel this surge of flame energy within you, and boy, just like that warmth that you're used to, it's almost too hot for just a split second, but instead it just kind of passes away to that warm, contented inner glow.
And down goes the other glass water.
And the sensation of this warm glow kind of goes from being at like a 9.5 down to a 7.5. Like, okay, let's bring this on back.
Wouldn't want to get heartburn.
And I look over to the rising tides man in the corner and see if he's paying attention. Or was.
Make me a perception check. Damn. Good rolls, dude. 18.
I know.
Roll 20 has been very nice to the players. It's been very, very nice to the players. Fucking, I'll have to tell them. There's an incident. Anyway, 18 perception. You go ahead and look over to this. Are these guys hard to read. The whole mask, blindfold, like heavy, thick robes, and like hand gestures while they're trying to like sweep up and like scrub. It makes them very deliberately hard to spot. But the Rising Tide person with an 18 doesn't seem overwhelmingly concerned with what was going on with you. Seems like actually their attention may be elsewhere in the room.
Okay.
So based on what you're able to tell, none of their body language is communicating that they're paying attention to you.
Perfect. And with that, I will up and leave. As I walk out of the room, I will prestidigitation a big old pile of soot on the ground right in front of the man's.
Excellent. Make me an intimidation check. 9 intimidation. You go ahead and just like leave this like little patch of soot behind, just looking at him, and the Rising Tide, like the head turns and like rotates towards you, and you see that creepy little fucking smile like painted on the front of the mask, and you see like that just the folds of cloth where the eyes should be, and you can't help but just get the heebie-jeebies off them. They're fucking creepy little dudes. And he goes, you know, I don't agree with why you did it, but I understand why you did. And kind of like steps over and starts trying to sweep up the soot that you left behind.
As I'm walking out the door and he steps there, I will turn and use prestidigitation to light it on fire real quick, and in an instant it disappears and is clean. Probably cleaner than it was before.
There you go. So you go ahead and give it the shirt sweater flare out routine real quick. Little orange flame licking around it, and just as the broom is about to come down and the bristles hit it, dust is gone, and the Rising Tide kind of like looks down, looks over at you.
It seems neither of our intentions are always what they seem.
And I
Haha, you got me. Keep sweeping. Excellent. Excellent. At this point, you've got a fairly decent set of leads at this point. I will also say that in the back of your mind, you are aware that you have not opened up that reinforced bag of holding yet, which you know have some goodies inside.
I will step. I'll make my way over to Scorn Tech.
Absolutely. Get you a warp gate for that. Here you go. So say that we bring you, the shortest route there brings you over to like the summoning platform. So you could head into, either the main room. You've got like Ravana's got his like little like side room here, and then you've got Riley, Kylie, and Wiley's like break room basically.
Yeah, I'll peek my head and.
Riley, will there be any portals coming in the next couple of moments?
No, I think you're gonna be okay. The next one that we've got some people planning to head downtown. They've got a reservation at the Nexus that they'll be opening a portal for, but other than that, no, nothing for at least a hot minute, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, feel free.
Nah, that's hot.
And I'll take a step and flip the bag of holding inside out.
Cool. You go ahead and flip the bag of holding inside out. A bunch of little things fall out in front of you. First, the two things that catch your eye are you get yourself a healing potion and a greater healing potion. You see the familiar red clink out on both sides. So let me go ahead, open up Scorch's thing, and I can go ahead and just give you the stuff because drag and drop inventory, yeah. So a potion of healing and a potion of greater healing. Though for some reason it appears that the greater healing isn't immediately available, so we'll make it 2, and I'll go ahead and fix the DC also. You also see an... You also happen to see a spindly white stone that falls down very light and almost kind of like delicately onto the ground. Make me an Arcana check right quick.
Just a singular one?
Yeah, just flat Arcana.
No, for the stone, just one, because there's 2 on my list.
2 on your list. Bull. There you go. Just the one. So potion of healing, potion of greater healing. Yeah, and with that, you do manage to identify it as an Ioun stone. You've seen actually a few of these on the displays at Scorch. It's kind of like the hot new thing this year. You don't know what kind of Ioun stone it is, but you know these cool little spindle things. You attune to them, and they kind of float around your head and give you a bunch of neat little perks.
Well, this may be handy.
You also see a beautifully inlaid coupon with runes scribbled in abyssal on multiple sides of it. Oh yeah, it's got all the Ioun stone details in there, but once you attune to it, it'll show you which one it actually is.
Okay.
But then you go ahead, and the biggest thing that catches your eye with that is a Rent-A-Imp coupon. Lets you go ahead and essentially bind one imp into a Scorch contract to be your familiar for the foreseeable future. So you can either use it to commission an imp from one of the 9 hells, or you can go ahead, if you happen to know an imp, be the perfect way to set up a pact.
He just kind of has to think for a minute, like, seems a bit... just kind of about it for a minute.
Well, I mean, that's all. It's a Scorntech Rent-In imps. You know that people do that. Like, it's one of the things where, like, you know, instead of like summoning demons and stuff like that, like, you know, like, what would happen to your soul if you went ahead and got into a contract? So instead, like, the Scorn goes ahead and like works out a deal with the 9 hells, so the contract's taken care of. So like, you can get all the benefits of warlockery without being a warlock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seems a bit convenient, as though I just met a imp.
I'm going to tell you that was actually a complete fucking coincidence.
Awesome.
I'm not even joking about that. I did not realize that you were going to be heading that. One, I did not remember. I remembered the Balgra there, but I forgot that there was also an imp sitting right there. And then when I put together the bag of stuff with it, I've very specifically been planning a Rent-A-Imp for several days now because they have immunity to fire.
And a coincidence it is.
So I assure you that was actually just parallel evolution.
Sometimes it all just works out.
Yep.
Okay, and anything else come out of the bag?
Yeah, a gigantic pile of gold. 400 gold, and a note attached to it that says, per diem.
Okay.
So you basically, you know that, like, the per diem here, this is like an advance on your expenses, and, you know, if you need to buy supplies, do anything extra, as long as you keep the receipts for it, you know, you can basically spend this gold any way you want to.
Perfect. I will place everything back inside of my magical bag and find the nearest aqueduct. I want to fill the bag with water.
Absolutely. Give me just a second here.
Preferably the coldest water I can find.
That you can find. Well, you're going to make your way over to the aqueduct. So, as you do so, you actually find yourself back over on the undersquare. Because as you're looking, it seems that these platforms over to this side, make me an Arcana check real quick. lots of Arcana, but that's because you actually know what magic does. 18.
A bit.
A little bit. You've seen these all over the place. These are levitation platforms. They are one of like the defining characteristics of downtown Keres. Like they're basically public transit. Also a lot bigger than the ones you see here. These are kind of like smaller industrial looking ones. But they're also like notoriously dangerous. You need to have talented wizards concentrating on it, because if they break the concentration and they're up like floating in the air, things stop floating in the air, and that's dangerous as shit. So one of the big things that you know with like Local 7 is that the Wizards Union is the reason why platforms are considered to be like a safe and responsible thing to use at this point. And indeed, as you're coming over here, you see the bright green robes of Local 7. They're this little septagonal symbol on their shoulder with this bright gold 7 right across it. They are levitate the platform down to about your level and say,
You heading on up?
Yes. Just for a moment.
Absolutely. We'll get you there in just a minute.
and you hop onto the platform. Give me a moment here, because we're going to have to swap maps very briefly. And in fact, I have to clear out a couple of dead bodies from the last time we went to this part of the map.
Wonderful.
I switch over to this part of the map, and I'm greeted with like a pile of red X's, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what I was doing. That's what happened here. Excellent. Just a moment more.
My bag will be a fire extinguisher if need be.
It's a very good idea, actually. And one of the things that you know about the reinforced bag of holding, one of the nice things about it with Scorntech is that should the bag be destroyed, it has resistance to piercing, bludgeoning, and slashing damage in general. But if it is destroyed, it has an insurance policy on it where your shit gets demi-portaled out instead of just like disappearing. So it's basically like in Scorntech recovery limbo, and you can get your things back. Why you have to usually pay so much for the damn things.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So Scorntech really loves like taking things to their like magical extreme. Like you guys have funding. Dragon Horde, yo. Have one NPC that I may just simply not find here. Ah, there they are. Beautiful. Bam. And you find yourself rising about 70, 80, 90, 100 feet up into the air, up to the lip of the aqueduct. The air is a little quieter here. The sounds of people below, babbling at the undersquare are a little quieter. And as you're here, you go ahead and see this heavily armored red dragonborn kind of give you a nod as you're making your way up here. The local 7s go ahead and boom, freeze the lifts, and the dragonborn gives you a nod.
Ah, hello there.
Hello.
Doris, it's nice to meet you. Didn't know that we were having visitors up here today. Just sort of keeping an eye on it in case we've got any smugglers coming through. Please step over. Give it a little hop just to whoop, get yourself over the tiny gap, but you make it without a problem.
Well, I am no smuggler. However, I wish to steal some water.
You're coming to the right place for it. I'm guessing with those robes, you didn't want to go down to the Rising Tide Temple?
No, the blessed water means naught to me.
Yeah, that's about what I'd expect from Scorntech. No offense meant, but that's in line.
Yeah, you know us techies.
I do. Has you heard from Ravana lately?
I have. What makes you ask such questions? Such a specific person.
There's a specific person. We've used to run in similar circles with each other. Let's do me a favor. If you get a chance to see Ravana, tell him that Doris says hello and we need to meet up for drinks again sometime.
I shall do just that.
You can make an insight check if you're curious.
Not that curious.
not that curious, and she's not giving you enough hints. So there's some history. Might be interesting. Probably not. Yeah, the aqueduct goes out before you, and this sort of quiet, very serene flow, just the quietest little waves of the water moving. This really intense, like vibrant shade of reflective blue catching the sky above you. You're able to fill up to your liking.
Yeah, I will empty the contents of my bag, pulling them out one at a time. I will tie the potions of healing around my belt, a sack of gold. I'll just use an empty sack I have, put the gold in. Pocket the coupon and pocket the stone as well. Possibly attuned to that soon. And then fill it with water. So there's nothing in it but water.
That's freaking incredible. So 64 cubic feet of water flows into the reinforced bag of holding. And as you're filling this thing up, you're really glad that you have like a reinforced bag of holding here, because even though you know it's going to like extra dimensional space, you kind of like feel that like strain on your muscles is like there's a lot of water that's flowing into this. And as you're filling up the bag, Doris seems like a little confused at first, because like the first thing that you hear is kind of like the sound of a waterfall, because it's just like this sploosh as the water like dives down like 8 cubic feet to the bottom and like filling up this cistern. But lo, she looks and kind of gives you this approving nod as the water fills up until you go ahead and see the like last little like filtering shimmer of the demiplane where it can't quite decide what's in the bag and what's in the outside. 64 cubic feet of water in your reinforced bag of holding.
Perfect. And I'll look up at Doris. And say, just in case I start a fire. And I'll begin the cantrip firebolt, but not cast it, just hold it in my hand.
Doris goes ahead and gives you a smile and kind of lets a little bit of like fiery breath seep out from the side of her cheeks, and she goes, oh, I remember thinking that Scorntech would be a good fit for me. Yeah, those are fun days. You enjoy yourself. You know, I know a lot of people have hard feelings about Scorntech in the city council, but I'm not one of them. You put that water to good use. I've never seen somebody do that before.
Yes, we will see.
And turn around, is the platform still there?
Yeah, the wizards are still going ahead and just kind of like stretching. They're still concentrating, but since they're not like doing an active rise or fall, they're just looking at their little mana gems on the corners.
I will hop over, cast the firebolt that I have held into the center of the aqueduct, make smoke and steam rise, and kind of whisper to one of the local 7, down, quickly, go down. And with dramatic enthusiasm.
Goodbye, Doris. I'll tell Ravana Khan to meet you again.
Absolutely. Make me an attack roll. Aim that fireball. Let's see how accurately you're able to go ahead and deliver that. 22. Oh yeah. It goes ahead and you even give it like a maybe like a little twist of the hand. 15. Oh yeah. So illustrate this one for me. How do these firebolts, like, are they like skipping stones? Do they go ahead and like just bury themselves into the water? Like, how does this seal itself up?
It just kind of makes a very large crater of water, kind of like a geyser almost.
And you go ahead and see the like bubble up, and it like the rising bubbles release themselves up to the air. And Doris lets the flames continue licking out the side of her cheeks, and she goes, "You have a good one there." And you begin to rise down with the local sevens, kind of like giving you a look, like one hand on their gems, the other hand extended outward as you kind of levitate on downwards.
I will leave them a tip of 1 gold.
They give you a really big smile and say, "Well, thanks. If you're looking for the real place to use something like that, you should head out and check out Scrolls. That's our our store that we've got up to the north there. Tell them that tell them, oh fuck. Oh yeah, we're Bonnie and Connie. Go ahead and just tell them that Bonnie and Connie sent you. They'll be more than happy to take care of you for any arcana shit you need."
You said the place is named Scrolls.
Yeah, with a Z.
Oh, so like scrolls.
Yeah, with a Z.
So Zols.
No, scrolls with an S, but a Z at the end.
Oh, so scrolls.
Yeah.
They both like nod vigorously in sync with each other.
Perfect.
I will then make my way to Scrolls.
Very cool. Indeed you do. Yeah, as you are making your way up north, you pass, give me a perception check just to see the kind of stuff that you might encounter on the way up there.
I apologize, Babuski, and I had to have a quick chat. Did you say something just a second ago?
I did. Do you need to to take like
No.
an additional quick?
No,
break?
we're good. We're good. He's leaving.
That's all good. Give me a perception check. 14, very nice. As you're making your way up north, you pass both the stable that you assume is the linen bridle that you've seen indicated. In addition to your normal like four-legged things, you see what looks like a giant slug and a levitating brain, kind of sitting with like various chains binding them to their paddocks. You pass by this very like nicely furnished interior. This one seems to be more of like a wine bar than Greg's, which is more of like that kind of dive bar aesthetic. You also pass what looks to be like a potion shop of some kind. You say of some kind because there is also a like noticeable number of burn marks and like impact craters around it. It seems like with a 14 perception, you can tell that this place has very recently and very quickly been rebuilt. Sort of identifying a little bit of like, I'm not going to say your own handiwork, but a certain element of you yourself letting your fire get away from you.
As I pass that place, what is there a sign first off, or is it gone?
There is a sign, and very recently created as well. Not really particularly well assembled. Looks like just like a wood slat with another piece of wood attached to it. And as I'll bring you to it, turn and look at the sign. It says Click's Hut of Vanishing Alchemy. Click's Vanishing Hut of Alchemy. Now will open soon.
I wonder if they're open now, because that's kind of soon. Okay.
I make my
Yeah. As you make your way in, you are greeted immediately. Make me one more perception check. With an 11, we're gonna say that with your general like fire knowledge, you know the scent of like flammable powders and liquids about ready to collide with each other. Like you know these scents. You're a dragon. This is kind of how it works. And as this you step in through the front door, you see this tiny gnomish woman with two separate vials, one full of dry powder in one hand, and the other full of like sloshing liquid in the other. And she seems to be about ready to dump the dry powder into the sloshing liquid.
Oh, hey, welcome to Clicks!
Hello. Carry on.
and I'll just watch.
She goes ahead and mixes the two powders together. I'm going to need you to make me a dexterity saving throw. $13. DC was 13. Boom! Click! The things that she's holding explode outwards into a series of like arcane flames. Doesn't even necessarily look like we're just sticking with like exclusive like reds. It looks like this is almost like this weird green, like spicy kind of transformation. And you see Click's body start to shift. Bonk. And she turns into a raven. Oh, wow. That's a new one. Well, guess that's how that works. Hi, welcome to Clicks. What can I get you? The raven flies over to you.
Do you want to be a raven?
Well, not particularly, but, you know, I was doing an experiment, and sometimes when you're making new batches of that potion, you never know what you're gonna get. At least this time I didn't turn into a potted plant. Flat, 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 flat.
Oh, okay.
Flat, flat.
I would also not want to be a plant.
Oh, that's
Ever.
okay. Oh, yeah, I can understand that. I didn't want to be a plant either. Raven's much better, though. At least I can still smell things. Oh, yeah. Wow, I totally mixed the wrong stuff.
From the looks of it, do you ever mix the right stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, I've got, like, plenty of, like, what is it that you're looking for? Like, you need healing potions, you need, like, climbing potions, giant growth, frost giant strength. I mean, I got a lot of stuff here.
A climbing potion. How much you sell one of them for?
Oh yeah, let me walk you through the inventory here real quick. So let's see here. We've got and you see the raven takes like a low pass over the room. Let's see. We got your potions of climbing. Those go for about 180 gold. We got your hill giant strength. That's like 250. Got bottled breath if you're worried about breathing, which let's be honest, who isn't? You see like this is already your thing. So potion of fire breath. I don't know if that's like your bag. But then the really fun ones, what I'm really sort of known for here, are my experimental...
Yeah, I'm gonna cut you off there. Experimental, no.
No, it's not just the experimentals, although those are only 10 gold apiece. We also have, these are the really hot ones, and you see that the raven picks up with its beak this little vial, and you see this sort of like rapidly transforming pyramid inside. It seems like it's almost like shifting around, and you see like this point facing outward, and then it faces outward again, and these points just keep rotating around. Now this one, this is something real special. I call this one, kind of shakes it around, the Potion of Death Rolls.
Yeah, let's stick with the climbing potion. I'll take one of those.
It's ironically named. It's actually a healing potion.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm good. I have a few of them already.
It's only 50 gold. Shukka, 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 shukka. It's a little raven still like waving it around, like trying to appeal to you. It does a little like raven hop.
Yeah. On second thought, I'm just gonna leave.
That's okay. Have fun. It was nice meeting you. Remember, when in doubt, go to Clicks.
Yep.
And with that, I would like to make my way to Scrolls with the possibility of coming back to make a purchase at Clicks.
Absolutely. Click seems perfectly fine with it. By the time you were headed out, she was already like using her bird beak to like carve out something onto the table. So she's making the best of it.
Perfect.
All right. Oops, shit. Ported you north and then managed to lose my instance of the game. Actually, I'm going to use this opportunity to take like a quick like 2-minute bio here before we get you to Scrolls.
Okay. I'll take a 3 to 4 minute smoke break.
Perfect. There we go. So call it 5 minutes. See ya then. Doop-a-doop-doop. Can't wait to get a compressor working on this thing.
I am back. Are you?
Oh, ha, ha. Yes. Yes, indeed.
I've been watching the new Baldur's Gate gameplay. It's like, oh, oh man, it looks.
Dude, just the fact that there's going to be a game that has 5e mechanics on it. Because that's the thing. It is so much fun to play Dungeons and Dragons. It is so much fun, but it is just like, you know, you go ahead and get everyone together and you get 15 whole turns that you're actually able to, like, input decisions, you know?
Yeah, because everybody's got to take their time and figure out what they want to do. When you
And-
first had 30 turns, I was like, yeah, there's no way that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I realized that that was perhaps a little unrealistic, but it was also one of those things where we stopped a little earlier than we did, and we also started a little later because we was like, is Rag gonna join up? Um, so yeah, it's all good.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right, and so with that, you find yourself at the mouth of Scrolls, and this is a nicer kind of building, like compared to a lot of the ones around here, where casually people haven't been putting a lot of like care into the outside aesthetic. This one has this almost kind of like polished, like green and black kind of look to it. You do see like a little gold 7 like zipped onto the side of it. But yeah, it's a lovely, lovely looking place.
Take a nice little look at it, look around, and step.
Absolutely. As you do, it's kind of a crisp light in here. Kind of like rather than just, like torches or cantrips, it's almost like a permanent daylight spell. It has that kind of like bluish kind of cast to everything that, had you not been outside, it has this very like inviting kind of feel for how like flat lit everything is. You see this individual behind the counter, elven male wearing the green robes of Local 7, clutching onto a small paper cup of a brown-black liquid as hard as they possibly can. And they go, "Hi, welcome to Squirrels. How can I help you?"
Hello. I'm here to browse your wares.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
I'll mention the names of the two other 7 that I met on the.
Oh yeah, Connie and Bonnie, they're great. Did you were you going up to the aqueduct?
Yes, I had some quick business to run with.
That's super cool. They're really fun. Just make sure you don't get lost in the warehouse. Ha ha ha. Yeah, what can I get you?
Well, back to what you just said, lost in the warehouse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this whole town is built on top of like a gigantic warehouse. That's why it's like a shipping destination, because you could, anytime you need more space, we just build another wing.
Oh, I haven't been there. Maybe I should make my way there some.
Yeah, just don't go on a full moon,
And why might that be?
because it's a warehouse.
Oh! Ha 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 ha!
He doesn't laugh.
Oh.
So what can I get you?
Well, I'm not a learned one, like most likely you are yourself. I innately draw magic powers from my own being and from the weave.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's okay. We deal with sorcerers too. I had a couple of sorcerers in my classes at the University of 7. They like, just because you're not studying stuff from a book doesn't mean you can't do cool stuff. We got stuff for you. What do you need?
Well, I can't do cool stuff. I can do about one thing and one thing only. So I'm looking to broaden my horizons a bit. Possibly scroll.
Takes a slow look at you and finally, with a good enough insight check, realizes, "Oh, you're a Scorn. That's cool. Yeah. Happy to help you. What are you looking for? We've got all sorts of stuff up to like a 2nd tier."
Well,
Let me pull up a list of spells.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the like rarer ones are a little difficult to come by. Like, we don't really like graviturgy is still something we're kind of new, and like, we don't get into like the religious stuff with chronomancy. So, other than that, like, we either are gonna have it in stock or we can get it for you like special ordered. Depending on what you need, it'd take like a day or 3 to get here.
well, I believe the one I'm most interested in would be Featherfall.
Oh, Featherfall? Oh, yeah, everyone's looking for Featherfall. I got you on that. And you see this individual put down the cup, run over, and with shaky hands, run up here and start extracting a number of scrolls out of some tubes. Yeah, we've got Featherfall. We've got a couple other like 1st tier ones. What else are you interested in?
How much for the first tier spells?
First tier, we do first tier for 75. Cantrips we do for 25, and then second tier is 150 and up, depending.
Very well. I will take 2 feather falls.
Oh, I like it. And if you get a third scroll, we get to get you a commemorative Scrolls Cup.
Is that what you have in your hand there?
Make me a perception check. Seven perception definitely seems to be, but the thing about most of the other cups around, well, you did, with the 7 perception, you didn't really notice it. He goes, oh yeah, that's a Scorch cup, but there's coffee in there. Usually you just fill that up with beads of refreshment.
Well,
Yeah, free refills.
that does sound quite nifty.
Doesn't it? Yeah, so 2 feather falls, and then what else can I get you?
Oh. 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of just sits there vibrating casually. Little blighter keeps like jumping back from like foot to foot.
I was looking at Flaming Sphere because that's not a spell on my sorcerer list. However, it seems not like what I'm looking for.
How about a scroll of invisibility?
Oh, invisibility? Absolutely. That's always helpful. Gonna be doing that at second tier, right? So that would be 150. So 75, 75, 150, 150. That'd be does the math. 300 gold pieces, and you get a commemorative Scrolls Cup.
Yes, that would that'll be all.
Hot damn! I love it. Goes ahead and thrusts the scrolls out into your hand, and extends his other hand, expectantly waiting for the gold.
Well, I should mention I'm here on business to help secure the town from possibly some incoming dangers. This won't only this isn't necessarily for personal use, but it is for Scorn Tech and the protection of the Northern Crossroads. Anyway, you can give me a bit of a discount.
Make me a persuasion check.
How about deception? Because it's pretty much personal use.
I'm gonna say it's like
They're the
right
same.
on, it's right on that. If they're the same, you can flavor it, but I'll say that was not particularly deceptive. You were being honest that like you are technically here on Scorn Tech business. There is a danger of sorts. 20 deception though. I mean, you're good. You're good. You go ahead. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like we do like bulk orders with Scorn Tech all the time. So here, let me go ahead. I'll mark this down as a 2 for 1. We'll say that it'll just be a flat 100 for the 2 scrolls. So that'd be 250 then for the trio.
Perfect.
I love it. So mark off the 250, and then you can go ahead and add in. Actually, do I have Featherfall? See where I can add in here. I can add the spells to your list, but I can't add just scrolls directly. So we'll go ahead and say that you can go ahead and just add in the ones to your inventory, and then I'll go ahead and add this onto your character sheet with like asterisks on them, so you know that you've got them as like scrolls.
Okay.
Pardon me, but I use the compendium. It's my favorite freaking thing about Roll20. There we go, Featherfall. There you go, and then 1 invisibility. Boop. Perfect. Boop. Boop. And boop. Done. Lovely. All right. Still with me?
I am. I was trying something. I went to the compendium to items scroll. You can add spell
Nice. You can add spell scrolls, but probably like limited options for customization on it. So you'd have to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, it's
the way we did it's fine.
yeah, it's fiddly. The items in this are sometimes they did a really good job on it, but there's a reason why they didn't port the DMG over. So, if it's in Xanthar's or if it's in the PHP, that's definitely in here. If it's not, I got to get more creative with it.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, is there anything? Oh, your cup, your commemorative cup. Oh my God! And he goes ahead and like runs over, grabs it, brings it on back to you. It looks like basically like a kind of nice made big gulp with this little like looks almost like a tapioca like pearl at the bottom of it. This gigantic big gulp. This little pearl at the bottom of it. Yeah, and this is a Scrolls commemorative cup. Anytime you need to come back, let us know, and you can prestidigitation it to taste like anything you want.
Oh. You say there's like a tapioca pearl in the bottom, like
Yeah.
a singular one?
Yeah, and it's like a big like 44-ounce cup with like a little thing at the bottom.
It just comes with one.
Well, yeah, but it's free refill, so you can come back and get another one.
Okay.
You can, like you can put the cap on and shake it too if you want like water.
Oh, that's neat.
I will walk outside, take the pearl, put it in my pocket, walk back in.
I seem to be all out. Could I get a refill?
Boy, you're thirsty, absolutely. And he goes ahead and runs over, grabs the cup, grabs another one, fills back up. There you go.
And I will do this about 10 times.
Make me a deception check. 10 deception. I'm gonna say that somewhere around like instance number like 4 of you just like cycling in and out. The first 3 times it's just like the same customer service. The 4th time his eyes start to narrow a little bit. He's like, wait a second. And like the jitteriness of the coffee starts to like go away. And you see these like distrusting expression start to cross his face. And he's like, something's up.
Well, I'll be totally truthful with you here.
Yeah.
You say free refills, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I could keep doing this all day, walking
Yeah.
in and out,
Yeah.
getting refills all day.
Yeah, you
Why don't
could.
we just make it easy? And why don't you just give me like, I don't know, 10 of them?
Make me a persuasion check with disadvantage because you're asking a union worker to go ahead and violate protocol. He like gives you this really trepidatious look. 13. I'm sorry, this is company policy. And hands you back the cup with the single bead in it.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yep.
Yep.
Looks like we're gonna be here for a minute.
All right. Well, see you in about 15 seconds. He goes, steps back over, and the dance continues with the two of you. Yep. Hey. Yep. Here you go. I'm also going to need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as you keep putting these beads of refreshment into your pocket.
That was advantage to the first one, right?
Advantage? No, it goes to the first one. It's a 20. I'll say that with a dirty 20, your little beads of refreshment only get a little bit of like gross hair and lint in them from your pocket. So rather than like it being like they're consistently gross or you've got to roll to see if they're gonna like taste like lint or not, no, they're just, the 20 save is good. You're all right.
Perfect. So
We'll
we
reward the 19. So you have 10 beads of refreshment in your pocket, and a extraordinarily disgruntled union employee with this. Like, I think I'm gonna have to write into headquarters about this.
Yeah, you might want to ride into headquarters.
Yeah, that's most people don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not most people.
I can tell.
and I walk out and I walk back in.
Oh dear God!
Oh, I just forgot to say
Yeah.
thank you so much for your great customer service.
You're very.
I'll be sure to tell someone about this.
You're very welcome. And you see a somatic gesture starting to come out. Make me Arcana check.
Dang it. 14.
14. 14, you know that he's putting up some kind of an abjuration ward. You don't know what kind of abjuration ward, but he's actually setting up a ward at this point. He's like, yeah, absolutely, no problem. You have a great one.
Yeah, you as well.
I'll say that with a 14, you can identify it as retail magic. Basically a lesser type of, like, flexible cantrip that's used to help out retail employees. So yeah, go ahead and add your 10 beads of refreshment to your character sheet. Well earned.
Perfect. And then I will make my way back down south.
Absolutely the first person to try pulling that on a local 7. Nobody else has thought to do this. So you've exploited a glitch in the system.
Perfect.
Cool, you head on south, and you see Click struggling to go ahead and drag several bags of herbs from one side of the room to the other with her beak. Oh, hey! Scar, nice to see you again. What's up?
Yeah, I'm here for the potion of wall climbing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She goes ahead and like with her beak like picks up this like silvery thing of liquid and like flutters it over. Here you go. This is gonna be clink 180.
Yeah, about that.
Uh-huh.
I might not be able to afford it. However,
Yeah.
it looks like you could use a hand here, if you know what I'm saying. You like an actual human hand, or humanoid hand. How about I give you a hand for a bit, and we knock this down like 30 gold.
Make me a persuasion check. As the raven kind of like cocks its head inquisitively at you. 20. You go. Oh damn! These spicy rolls here.
I'm definitely a face character.
Yeah, you are. The raven goes ahead and turns, kind of like lands down next to you. Ignore the little thaumaturgy floating over its head. Kind of like sits down, like gives you that little like raven head tilt and goes, "Yeah, sure, help me mix up a couple of these and we can knock that down a little bit." And she goes ahead and flips over and like does a little like raven hop on over.
Yeah, you just tell me exactly what you want me to do, and I'll do it for you.
Beautiful. So let's say, do you have any, what are your tool proficiencies like? Taking a look.
Disguise, kit, and a flute.
Yeah, not so much like an alchemy kit, so no fun little advantages or anything like that, but, Click doesn't seem to be all that bothered. It's like, okay, don't worry about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to brew up a couple of these experimental potions, right? So here's the trick. If you think that you can go ahead and, like, be my one to absorb this, I'll go ahead and give you the ingredients that we'll be mixing together, and then you're just going to be the one who, like, mixes it, and we'll see what the effects are, okay?
Yeah, that'll work.
Awesome! Kind of says that last one's a little bit of a squawk behind it. Hops over, comes up with a couple of these little liquids. Roll me a d20. Just /R and then just space d20. So roll me a flat d20. With a 15, you go ahead and you take the first two ingredients, mix them together, and out comes a kind of weird viscous solution. It doesn't seem to be quite like the last little experimental potion you saw waved in front of your face. This one looks almost like a little bit more like brownish, and it's thick, almost like molasses. Whew, that was a good one. All right, that's the first one. So I'll take her from you. She like leans over, grabs it with your beak, and puts it over on the shelf. Now for this one, I'm trying a couple more things. These ones are a little bit further along. So she hops over, grabs a little purple tincture here, and another bottle of green. Roll me another d20. Beautiful. This time you go ahead and take the two ingredients together, and you start to smell, as you start to like mix the two, you smell a reaction. Give me a d100 roll. A 50. Intriguing.
Why isn't that average?
Well, for you, as you go ahead and start mixing the two together, thick black smoke starts to pour out of the potion and starts filling up the interior of the room. It's pretty thick, and you'd think that, it's possible that you would, like, start coughing or something like this. But Click's like, oh, shit, don't worry, it's just gonna go ahead and, head itself on up, head on up, and she, like, flaps her wings, and it kind of, all the smoke starts making its way towards a crevasse in the ceiling. Make me a Constitution saving throw real quick. Oh, yeah. You briefly feel like the smoke had the potential to start, like, pouring out of, like, you. Like, it was starting to, like, slip into your fingers and, like, seep into your skin a bit. But thanks to your unbelievably tough Dragonborn Constitution, you shrug the whole thing off. And, instead the smoke, like, continues pouring out. She's like, oh, shit. Grabs a cork. Here, stop her. Hands it off over to you.
I do that.
Boop. And the potion's made. Ah, nice. You're a real natural at this. Honestly, I thought that you were going to be more of like the burn things up type. Cool. Nothing's gone wrong yet. One more.
Yeah, just have to remain cool, calm, and collected. Or else, this burn mark in the center might get big.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, last time I tried making one of those, it was just a straight up fireball.
Oh, yeah, I can handle a fireball.
Good, because I couldn't. And hands you two more bottles. Roll me a d20. With an 11, roll me one more d100. 30. Scroll. All of a sudden, as you mix this together, it's kind of funny because this was like a red and a green solution that got mixed together, but instead it immediately pulses out this dark purple energy. Boom! This pulse, like, exudes outwards to, actually, the both of you. Need you to roll me a d10. All of a sudden you see a pulse of necromantic energy lash out at the pair of you. Click goes, yeah! And you take 3 points of necrotic damage.
Oh, no.
However, as the energy lashes out, the potion goes from, like, this dark purple to, like, this almost, like, lighter lavender shade. And equally, you go ahead and gain 6 hit points, plus 3 temporary hit points.
So it heals me for 6?
It heals you for 3 and you gain 3 temporary.
Okay.
Huh. Well, that's a new one. Yikes, that kind of hurt. How you feeling? You look all lavender.
Kind of, like, bounces around doing the little, like, crow hop.
Kind of look shoulder to shoulder.
Feel the same. Maybe even a little bit better.
You see? And you were all skeptical about it. You see? That's the trick with my experimental potions. You never know what you're gonna get, but once we start figuring out what does what, then we'll be able to start manufacturing those on the regular. And if it makes you feel good, we can make a whole bunch! If you kind of like rolls around in crow form.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of fun. How about I do the most dangerous experiment you have, and you knock off an extra 50 gold.
Really? Give me a persuasion check.
Looked like a 20 for so long.
It did. Eyes as white as saucers, though. It beats the contested roll. She goes, yeah, I've got an experiment if you want to try one. Oh, yeah, I totally do. Hold on, you said your thing's like fire, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on just a second. And like hops over, grabs one sealed red bottle, and then grabs 2 sets of experimental potions and brings them over to the same place. And she goes, okay, so here's my idea here. Now, I've got this potion of fire breath, right? This is what I've had this worked out for a while, and it's totally great, but like, you're a dragon, so this is old hat for you. However, experimental potions, when you mix them together, will have sometimes unpredictable effects with the existing potion. So, like, you could go ahead, take these experimentals, and if you think that you could go ahead and deal with, like, a fire accident along with this, we can go ahead and see if, like, this pans out, and, like, we could go ahead and get this into not just being, like, fire or breath, but, like, something cooler, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah, let's do it. The crow does a little happy crow hop, and hands you 3 bottles together.
All right, mix.
Mix, swirl, mix. Roll me. So what combination are you gonna mix these together in?
I'm gonna try something myself.
What you gonna try?
And put.
All right, hear me out. So, in my experience, fire goes well with fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna put this down on the ground, and I cast Create Bonfire in a 5-foot square, just to the right of me.
Ooh, using fire as a reagent. I like it.
And doing that, I will heat up one of the experimentals, and then slowly pour that into a vial, into a big flask, and then pour the flame breath into it.
Excellent. I would like you to roll me a D100.
That's a bit of a number. Oh, jeez.
the infamous D1000, Dice of the Titans. What we got? 74. You go ahead and you mix the first experimental potion and the fire-breathing potion together, and you watch as there is a intense swirl on the inside. The red almost seems like it gets sapped out by the thicker, like honey-like concoction of the experimental potion. And as you look at it, it seems like the potion is still stable. It's changed from the sort of reddish color into this like swirling yellow.
Well, that's probably a good sign.
I think so. Do you have any way of identifying what's in there?
Not really. I'm not very good with identification.
Okay, well, here, let me try this. And the crow immediately hops into the bonfire face first. Ow, 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 ow. You see the flames leaping up and burn the crow, and eventually crackle, 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 pop. Are you doing the damage for it?
Yeah.
Perfect. And that is, in fact, just enough to go ahead and pop the raven out. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Click, goddammit, where'd you go?
Where'd you go?
Bam!
I miss so. There's Click.
There she is. Ow, 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 ow. And she, like, tries to, like, put the fire out. She's, like, patting out the stuff on her gloves. Oh,
I'll just snap using Control Flame and put it out.
woo, thank you. Yeah, wow. I forgot that was an option. Wouldn't recommend it, though. Like, it's not the first time I've been polymorphed, but sometimes you just gotta, like, get your fingers and toes back, right? Yeah, do you want to try that, or shall I? Or actually, let me try to taste that. And she, like, tries to, like, reach out for the little potion and, like, stick a finger into it.
I totally let her.
She goes ahead and takes, like, a little dab of it, puts it on her. Interesting. Yeah, it still kept the fire property, but now it's got a little bit of... It's got, like, some mobility in it, too. Hey, if you want to go ahead and take this one for yourself and report back to me on what this is, I can remake this potion. I can tell you it's not going to kill you. I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but it's going to do something cool.
I look her dead in the eyes and use prestidigitation on my eyes, and a little fire starts coming out of them. And I'm like, wait, I'm not done yet. We still have one more to go. And like a look of crazed excitement comes from Scorch.
And Click's eyes go even wider, like behind the goggles of hers. Like they're like eyes as wide as saucers. And she's like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Roll me a D100.
Before I do that, I'll cast Dancing Flames and put all 3 flames into the experimental potion.
Ooh, intriguing. Indeed, they you see the little fire darts leap out and start making their way in there. Let me bring those out.
And then I'll mix that with the potion she's currently holding.
Burn it! Burn it all! Burn it all in the name of science!
For science!
For science!
And I...
Yeah, roll me a D100. 58. As you mix together the experimental potion, roll me another D100. As you go ahead and pour the potion in, you start to smell distinctly the crackle of ozone. And all of a sudden the fire goes, like the fiery like liquid inside that was kind of like this orange yellow kind of switches over to almost being like whitish for a moment. And very rapidly you feel this kind of like crackle, and Click goes, oh shit. Boom! Thunder Wave is cast on yourself.
Okay, I'm going to use my reaction.
Centered on yourself. Absorb elements. Oh, it's more of a question of where would you like to aim the Thunder Wave?
I thought it was centered at myself.
I suppose, yeah, it's centered on yourself. Oh, yeah, so it goes ahead and just kind of, like, lands right there then. So, yeah, I suppose that is the case. Thunder Wave, roll me a dexterity save. 3. Fortunately, you go ahead and reactively, like, switch over to absorb this, like, ozone blast, and Click is like, oh, shit. Boom! you are not necessarily lobbed, but like very uncomfortably like pinned in at all sides as this kinetic surge of energy just flies out. The bottles, the tables, everything kind of just goes like sliding around on the inside. Some of the like an open window, one of the potions just like goes flying out. Tables all kind of like lean up and Click is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Roll me one more d20. Beautiful. But as you go ahead and take... So you absorbed 5 damage of the...
No, that's for something else. That's I don't know how to link the spell to.
Ooh, well, let me go ahead and check your sheet then. You just tell me what it is that you want to do.
Yeah, so absorb elements makes me resistant to the damage as a reaction.
Beautiful.
So I'm just resistant to it. But if I use a melee attack on my next turn,
Got it. That's
the
what the
target
roll
takes
is for.
extra damage. Yeah.
There you go. My apologies. That's the first time I've seen that spell in use, which I don't know why, because it's awesome.
Yeah, it was that or shield, and I wanted elements instead of extra.
Yeah, that's absolutely the correct choice here. So you go ahead and take 8 points of thunder damage reduced to 4 as the thunder wave crack-a-boom blasts out, and fortunately nothing in the immediate vicinity gets crashed, but you also have this like white-yellow potion still holding in your hand that seems like it's like shimmering and vibrating at this point. Oh, holy crap. Did it work? Did it not blow up? Yes! Click's hands go up into a sign of victory.
Yes, I held on to it real tight while I took a little bit of lightning.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know, like, that's really cool. That's almost like transmutive? Did we go ahead and discover, like, rather than just, like, potion making here, is this, like, an alchemy solution? Oh, that would be amazing, being able to, like, convert, like, fire into thunder and thunder into ice. That could be so cool! I'll have to go ahead and take notes on this concoction. Cool. I'll have to take notes on this concoction. She, like, looks over onto her table and sees that all of the bottles that she had organized are, like, all over the place now. She's like, I'll see if I can remember to take notes on it after I start, reorganizing all of this.
Well, why don't you let me do the reorganization while you take the notes? Well, they're still fresh, and I'll do my best to reorganize this. It was my fault. I mean, I was the one
who
went boom.
I was the one who blew.
I went boom though.
Yeah, you went boom, but like I was the one who like made the concoction to like go boom. So like, trust me. Let me take care of the organization here. 100. We said that it was gonna be what, like 50 gold off the thing. Let's call it square 100 here for this spider climb and call it even. Okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. And you let me know what you find out. Exactly what that does.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll probably take me a couple more experiments here to be able to do that, but that was really cool. Like, we went ahead and we had, like, we had, like, a transmutation substance there. Normally it just, like, blows stuff up, but, like, that had, like, tension to it. I like it.
And, lo and behold, a potion of climbing ends up in your inventory.
Perfect.
You also have these scrolls.
Yeah, those are in there.
You also have the commemorative cup, not just the beads.
Ah. That's really important.
It's incredibly important.
Boop. Well, yeah, here you go. So, yeah, potion of climbing, you're all set, and thanks for helping me out with this. Like, you're pretty cool. Like, normally, like, Scorntech folk, like, don't tend to, like, slow down and say hi all that much. You're pretty cool dude, Scorch. I like ya.
Well, I appreciate it. You see, Scorntech, they've been getting into the micro technologies lately. I'm more of the hands-on, blow stuff up kind of guy. And this seemed to fit pretty well.
Darn Skippy. Well, anytime you need something like that, I'll keep my eyes open for like any more like explosive combinations. Hey, do you see where that blue bottle, that purple bottle went that was on this table? She like starts like looking around.
Yeah, I think I saw it fly out the window.
Oh shit, really? All right, I'll walk you out then. She's like, oh jeez, oh jeez. Well, at least I don't have to do another set of renovations. That took me a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that what you're doing here could cause quite a lot.
Yeah, it's
Here. I actually have a specialty with scorch marks,
Oh really?
as the name goes. Let me just do you a favor here and try to clean this big old mess up. On
Yeah,
the center.
go for it.
And I'll spend some time casting prestidigitation and using my fire to cleanse the fire.
There you go. And the more that you go ahead and kind of like take those like little heated pulses away at it, you do actually notice, prestidigitation is a cantrip, and you can only do like the cubic foot at a time. But you're amazed, like the more that you're looking at it, the more you swear that like big like burnt out patch, it seems like it's like shrinking itself away. Click seems genuinely pretty impressed. Like, wow, like that's actually, I haven't seen that much wood in here in like since I first built this place.
I'll leave just a little bit like it is now.
That's just a reminder. I could probably clean it up, but I think it gives the place character.
Oh
What do you
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's only a matter of time before I add on to another one to it. By the way, Click's my nickname, but my full name, I'm Clarissandra. Clarissandra Brokestick, but everybody calls me Click.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Broke stick, you say? That's it's quite the surname.
Yeah.
Any stories behind that?
Oh yeah, you've probably heard of my father. He's Trigger. He's runs the Hair Trigger Smithworks further south in town.
Never heard of him.
Well, you should chat with him. He's had a really interesting life. It's pretty good with fire too. So if you ever need anything like smelted or whatever, just tell him that Click says hey, and we should get dinner.
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that.
Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks, Scorch. We'll see you sometime soon.
I shall hopefully see you around. Like I said, maybe figure out what that potion just did. I'm real interested in it, but yeah.
Oh, you're swell, Scorch. Thanks so much. I'll tell me how it goes. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
And I guess to kind of wrap things up, head over to...
Very positive impression on Click, by the way. Go ahead and helping her out with the experiments. It's one of those things, if this were a Telltale game, you'd be like, Click will remember this.
Oh.
And then where are you headed to?
Go back to the safe... what's it called?
Safe passage.
Safe passage.
Cool.
And here I will...
Oh, hi, hi, Scorch. How's it going?
Just saw a couple of people, got some information.
I like it. I like it. So, did you think about the offer? Are you ready to head out?
I believe I am.
And I will pull out a rent-a-imp coupon.
Oh, that's even better. Oh, so I can get paid for this too.
Yeah. Here. Let me go ahead and like takes out like a teeny like little dagger and like slices like its palm and like places it onto
Oh,
the
hold
coconut.
on, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on there, Agatha.
Yeah.
There's a stipulation with this.
Yeah.
First off, I wanted to see how you would react to it. Initial impression, good. Secondly, I'm not so sure you're gonna be the imp for me. However, this is our trial run. If things go well, I think you and me could make a great pairing.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been talking with Mama B here, and she's been telling me that she's okay. She's just gonna wait here for her husband. So I'm free to go ahead and take on like an extra couple of gigs here. So yeah, we can do this whenever you feel like it. We'll call it a trial run, but won't let you down. And once again goes invisible.
Oh. Yeah. I guess you'll probably just stick around me for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just have to, take the main northwest route out of town, and then just head our way to the coast, and we can start making our way to the ministry.
Perfect. Well, let's start heading that way then.
The little like ugly like demon baby thing kind of like gives like a little wave towards you.
I toss it a bead of refreshment.
He goes ahead and like as his like gunky little teeth like bite into it, you just see like this big like gush. It looks almost like Gatorade, just like like.
Yo, what's happening here?
What is happening here?
I don't know.
What
You
is
don't know.
happening here? You don't know.
Oh, I just came home from kayaking, and the first thing I opened my computer was this Discord, and I saw you two together.
Amazing. What could possibly be happening here?
I'm gonna leave now, and I will not say anything.
Hold your peace.
I will. All right. Please don't kill me. Bye.
Oh, please. Like I can please, like I can fucking kill Flardo. That asshole made 8 charisma saving throws in a row. 8 charisma saving throws in a row. I was so angry by the end of I was literally eating White Castle 2 hours later after that session, like watching freaking Avatar. And I just got mad out of nowhere, and I realized I was mad because I was not able to do anything to Dilla that whole session.
Yeah, I heard something about that, and Pabuski was like, I heard Agnate slam his fist on the table. He was so upset.
So mad. So mad. He didn't roll anything lower than a 16, and the DC was a 15.
Oof.
For 8 rolls in a row, the dirty little lucky son of a gunk. So mad. Julia just walked by and just looked at me and said, "You're so mad." I was mad. It's all right.
Funny.
The luck will eventually run out. There's still 15 turns left.
Yeah.
So my apologies for the little unravel there, but yeah, at this point, Agatha again has this like kind of like Icarus blood across her palm, and she's like, "Listen, if it's a trial run, I'm looking to make a little money here and get myself sworn up here. Scorntech's a great group."
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be sure to reward you the best I can, and I foresee it going well. But I'm not a man to rush into decisions.
No, you don't need to be. I completely understand. I'm just, whew, with him, sometimes a fresh contract is the nicest thing you can ask for.
yeah, I can understand that. Let's take a step outside real quick, Agatha.
Cool. She goes ahead and she's like gives you a quick little rattle off. Is like, yeah, and if the imp is too much, I can be invisible. I can do rat form, spider form, raven form. Can't be hurt by fire. Got a vicious little sting here if you will it to me. Yeah, I've got some options here.
Well, let's take a step over here in the grass. I wanna see something.
Yeah. What's the deal?
Burning hands.
And I will use Burning Hands on the imp.
Yeah, go use Burning Hands away.
That's another spell slot.
Takes 12 points of fire damage on a DC 14 dex save,
but is immune to fire.
but is immune to fire. So just wanted to see, literally, Demon just kind of sits there, doesn't really try to, like, get out of the way. You go ahead and burning hands and voomp, the flames dart out, like, tracing their way across. And in fact, do I have? Yes, I do. Whoosh. You see the flamey little burst dart out, and the imp's just kind of like, Agatha's just kind of like, I mean, should I be like, do you want me to be like scared? Like, oh, I'm burning, but
No. There were two things I wanted to check. I'm a very honest dragonborn. Also, imps are known for lying. Wanted to make sure that wasn't a fib, that you're immune to fire, because it will be very important later on. And secondly, check your hand where you cut yourself. Hopefully that singed itself up with that fire.
And lo and behold, it's cauterized. And she kind of looks at you, looks at the cauterized, like, thanks, but, I still kind of want to, like, seal off on that contract, And, like, look down at the coupon.
Yeah, I understand. But like I said, trial run.
Make a persuasion check. Almost amazing, and instead, Agatha kind of looks back and forth. It's like, I get it, but just like, it's kind of like asking like a freelancer to like take on a project, and it's like, I'll pay you at the end, but I've been around for a couple hundred years at this point, and I'm not like, I'm not like super foolish. So can we I just put it in so that like I'm your imp, and if you want it, you can just break the contract later. I mean, just so I've got something to commit myself to here.
See, here's the thing, Agatha. I'm gonna burn this straight into you.
Yeah.
We were gonna be partners already. You had already agreed to come with me.
Yeah.
Until I brought up the coupon.
Yeah.
Secondly, our mission here isn't only for my sole purpose, but the Bulgara in there. I would like to find the father of that child. He's just so damn cute.
You hear the distant moaning from the inside.
So, I'll say it again. Trial run.
Make me persuasion with advantage. That was a compelling case.
Good thing I did.
Good thing that you did. If that had been the other way there, the imp goes ahead and like flicks the eyes, and goes, "Yeah, you make a point. So if I do a good job, though, you're not gonna like screwball me here. Like we're working together here. I'll get you to show you the professor, and then at the end of this, like we get a little pact here, right? I can get myself get that seal."
Absolutely. And just to prove my word,
I take my hand out and using I gotta look at my spells again. Using prestidigitation and control flames and use of create bonfire. Actually, let's just do dancing flames. I will conjoin all three of the flames together, put it on my fingertip, and use control flames to make it very, what's it called? Very condensed flame into where they're almost blue.
Ooh.
And I will burn a. What would I want? I was gonna put AG for Agatha. Then I was like, wait, that's not the right thing to do, because AG is something else. On my arm, the one not covered with a glove, I will simply put a burn mark into it. Just a long dash, and not. I will not use the. What is it called? The spell. I will not use absorb elements to protect myself from it. I will just simply burn a long line into my arm.
This is my contract. Yours will come.
Well, that officially makes you the third weirdest person I've ever been a familiar for, but definitely not top 2. So let's go for it.
Wait. Okay.
And we're off.
Yeah. So whenever you're ready, just follow me, and we'll go ahead and we'll head on up to the west. Follow me. And flap, little demon wings. Some point along the way there realizes that it's actually going to be easier to actually fly in raven form, and so paf, turns into a raven and starts making the way forward. And with that, we can pick up and next Monday as you make your way to the missing ministry to recover Professor Gobsworth.
Hell. Yeah. So I also wanted to use where's it at? My demi-plane. Just to
Just to go ahead and get that there. Go.
And invite the imp with me.
Absolutely. The imp is going to be your +1. So while you're making your way there, give me just a second while I get that set, because I pushed that over into an archive section right quick. So 1 moment.
Yeah, this is the perfect point to end it off. I'm heading that way. And this was like a day ago, so probably make it there roughly around the right time.
Exactly. Doobie, move your demi-plane, move all the stuff and put it where it should be. My apologies, I had actually went to archive this too early in the process to try to get the performance back.
And while I'm in my demi-plane, before I go to sleep, I wanted to attune to the Ioun Stone. I almost forgot about that.
Beautiful. There we go. Eventually, one of these days, I'm going to get a separate set of macros specifically for being able to move people from place to place. But until then, welcome to your demi-plane. As you take the minute to focus and attune yourself to the crystal, it's not your first time. This is something that, agents kind of get, it's a easier way than letting something as important as like Scorn Tech material go out without, you don't want to have Scorn Tech agents like staying in random hostels. That's an easy way to get people beat up. But as a result, you've got these pretty nice accommodations here. Got a little bit of, as you walk in and explore yourself around, you've got like a little rug set up, a couple of beds. You know that if you needed to, you could summon like a table or other accoutrements from negative space. But here's a little base of operations for you.
It looks very Scorn Tech. I love it.
Mm-hmm. The plants, you kind of notice with a little bit of distaste. That's maybe a new move that they're trying to do.
I burn immediately.
You go ahead and scorch that away, and remember to make a note on your comment card about being displeased by it.
Yeah.
I'll also go ahead and say that as you burn that, temporal space will also try to fill it with a dresser for you. Scorn Tech, they go ahead and it's very much like magic as a wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, the trick with the key as you're sensing it is that until you go ahead and take a proper rest, you've only got one more pulse to open up this demi-plane until then. So, you can use it pretty freely, but you also need to, you can't be making like too many visits to your demi-plane like in the middle of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like something you can retreat to in the middle of combat.
Yeah, exactly. And it takes you a full minute to get yourself set up to be able to cast it. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a couple of bookshelves as well.
Cool.
Bonk, bonk.
I do like the books.
Beautiful. And it's very much like sort of that like Airbnb feel to it, where like the books are all like very benignly titled. There might be some smut. But like the smut, it's all like really like classily named. It's going to be like Dragons in the Mist or something like that.
That's the one I pick up and start reading while I attune, and about 4 or 5 pages into it, I get excited.
Fantastic. So with that, I've been thinking, how do you want to go ahead and have that that excitement manifest itself? Do you want it to be pure luck? Do you want it to be a save?
That's a good question, because I imagine it's something that he can't control. If the trigger happens, then there is no save; it just happens, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like, but what is the trigger? What is him being overly excited?
Mm-hmm, exactly. And so we've got like a line where, it's fun in a lot of circumstances, but other times, you'll get excited and then you'll have ramifications.
Yeah. I feel like the best one for it we could make it, I want to say wisdom, because charisma doesn't sound right. Neither does constitution, but it's between intelligence and wisdom, and I think wisdom probably fits a little bit better.
I think so. That's more of like, are you letting your emotions like take control of you or not?
Yeah, and with that being said, I feel like like whatever I use, it should be a roll, and depending on like the DC, make it like a DC, I don't know, 10.
Mm-hmm. With escalating checks.
Right, but I'm thinking like the worse I fail it by, the higher level of spell I use to go, excited.
There we go. So the more you fail it by. I love it. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Which is my second to worst roll.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What did you roll?
An 11.
An 11. Boy, the book starts getting steamy, and your hands start getting steamy, and then they start getting like You start feeling like that little like glycerin kind of feel, and you start getting like a little, your hands start getting a little juicy, and you're just like, oh no, oh no 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 no. You're like, it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and I just get myself my own plane, and I'm gonna burn my own little plane down. Oh no! And as you kind of feel that, oh no, at the last second, you gotta like squeeze your brain in, and it's like, and you're okay.
And with that, I cast create bonfire on the ground and toss all of the erotic books in the room into the bonfire.
Make me an investigation check. A 9 in investigation. You think that you've managed to track down as much smut as possible. But I'm going to say that based on the way that Scorn Tech titles their books, a 9 in investigation, you can't say with absolute certainty that you have cleared out all of the smut from this bookshelf.
Perfect. So there will be a chance of me, going to bed. I always like to read a book. It's one of Scorch's things. He loves reading. Picks up a random book, starts reading, and next thing you know, fireball.
I mean, and especially too with like some of the names of like various titles for it. Like the one that you were reading here was titled The Understudies. And so like it starts following like these two like out of work actors that are like trying to like make their way onto like this big stage thing, but they've got like this torrid romance with them, and it's like way too much. Like, but as like you're also like looking over here, you're starting to see like things that look like 50 Shades of Dark Vision, like Promises of the River, Love in a Time of Warlocks. Like there's a couple of them that like jump out more at you than others, and you go ahead and like actually throw out. You also see A Drow's Passion, The Web of Love. That one goes into the bonfire.
Awesome. So I'm thinking, like erotica stuff, like that's an excitement, but also I feel like there should be another trigger, like not just erotic excitement.
Oh no, anything that gets you stoked.
Okay.
Because
I kind of got stoked when I was making the alchemy, but I think it happened.
That would have been a really good time to break that out. But since we didn't, we'll have to say that for your next return to Click. We'll now have this mechanic set.
Yeah, but anything that I feel the character gets excited about, I'll just let you know.
Or anything that anything that either of us determines.
Absolutely, absolutely.
There will be a few things. So this is also the shingamababi that I was thinking about setting you up with here. So let me Discord message this to you right quick.
Ioun Stone?
Oh, the Ioun Stone, yeah. For the Ioun Stone, as you're going ahead and attuning to the stone and, kind of letting this, like, filth and smoot, you notice that the spindle around you is actually a dark blue color. A rhomboid. It goes ahead and has this kind of like interesting, like funky angle to it. And as you let it start to build up its orbit around your head, every little twitch that your new little imp raven companion makes, it does not go unnoticed. Your eyes dart over and kind of catch it. You realize that you cannot be surprised as long as this stone is in orbit.
Very cool. And that is... I'm trying to find it.
That is the Stone of Awareness. I will send that to you in the disc message as well. Okay, cool. Just sent you both. So if you like the wording on that one, I'll go ahead and I can add it to your character sheet for your trigger.
Okay. Reading it. Interesting. Okay. It's a bit more directly aggro than I was expecting.
Well, I mean, just so that we have a way of mechanically determining it, because if
Uh-huh.
you're like reading a book, it wouldn't matter. But say like you're talking to a person and you light that person on fire, gotta have like a scale of exactly how on fire they are, you know?
Yeah. See, I was initially thinking, like it was me who catches fire,
Oh,
but I mean that
uh,
kind of worked too.
whatever you feel like. If you want to self-immolate, I am not going to object to that.
I was kind of thinking the self-immolate. That's kind of where I was foreshadowing all the ice water and all of the
Got
water.
it. Gotcha. Here, let me rewrite this then.
But with this penalty, I'll have to figure out some kind of reward where I can use it as an advantageous thing somehow. Like
How
in the
about
heat of combat, like I light on fire and yeah, I take damage, but maybe fire is stronger or
how about
something.
well, you have resistance to fire damage, right?
Nope,
You don't naturally as a gold dragon? Oh, that's funny.
nope.
Uh,
You would think I would, but I don't.
yeah, you really would think. I don't know why I was operating under that presumption. Well, let's say this then. How about it's a mutually assured destruction thing? So while we're going ahead and getting that worked out, say that it's, I light you on fire, you light me on fire. Like if something gets you excited, both you and it burn up.
Yeah.
Both you and the target. The other thing too is that like the more that you try to like go on like a badass like route, if that's something that intrigues you, the more like additional little like dope fire options you're gonna get on the side. So the one I'm deliberately, since we're doing a bunch of like super flashy stuff, I'm kind of going off the rails with some options for progression here. But I'm god of this world, so I can do it if I feel like it.
That's the wonders of being a DM. You could just do it. Just do it if you want.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, like, this is actually, like, looking at this, like, a piece of, like, the unused psionics that I, like, reworked because they've got some really cool ideas in there that they had no idea how to implement. There you go.
Mhm. See, I'm not such a big fan of the burning other people kind of thing when I'm excited about them.
Okay. Let's just make it you then.
Yeah, just the self-immolation kind of thing.
Cool. Works for me.
Because, I mean, yeah, it could be a good thing and a bad thing to burn somebody else, but I'd rather not, have the chance of burning the partner that I'm sleeping with kind of guy.
Gotcha. Don't want to do that. Creature within 60 feet of you excites you. Make a DC 10 Wisdom saving throw. On a fail save, you take 1d4 fire damage per failed point of DC save, and you catch on fire, taking 1d6 fire damage at the end of each of your turns until your concentration. Well, not until your concentration ends, because now this is not something you want to be able to drop concentration on. Until you or a creature adjacent to you extinguishes the flames with an action.
Right.
On a successful save, you take half as much damage and don't catch on fire. There we go. See if that works better. And you catches on fire. You catch on fire. Boy, conjugation.
Okay. On a successful save, I take no damage because I roll an 11.
Mm-hmm.
Then I pass and don't get excited.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that works. Just a simple little self-combustion kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But also self-combustion where you yourself can catch on fire if you felt like it.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't happen too much, but I assume it will because I'm a pretty excitable guy.
We'll see. We'll see what sort of world options here get you stoked.
And I like how it is where we got it, and I'd also look forward to hopefully seeing some kind of like advantage to that down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attuned to myself yet, and that's why it's happening, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, like airbender, firebender kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I start to understand it more.
That is the intentionality behind it. I hope that's the way you were taking it, and that's exactly the direction I was hoping to move it as well. So if we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be something I could already use now to my advantage. I wanted it to be just simply a detriment, period.
Yeah. Well, and like the undead woman said, you're it's whatever you say, contender.
Yeah. Yes. Have to keep that on the hush hush, but I'm excited for that too.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, her doing that probably would have got me excited. Like I would have had to roll. Like you make me feel death. Like by looking at me, I will probably get excited.
You're cool. You made me afraid for my life.
The excited isn't like just like, oh, that's so awesome kind of thing. It's also like
no, it's like
intense emotion, like
yeah,
any kind of, but mostly excitement in the cool way.
Like
because that's like what gives it the flavor.
I'm thinking of it as like the clinical use of the term arousal, where it's just like a combination of like vigilance, excitable, sensory information. Yeah, you run hot.
The clinical, yes, the clinical definition of arousal is perfect for kind of how it gets set off. If I have over arousal.
Mm-hmm. Love it. And of course, anybody who would go ahead and giggle at that, I go, now, we need words to be able to describe the things that happen inside of our bodies and hearts. You can't make everything filthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Turducken. Cool. Well, I think with that, we can go ahead and say that you take a nice little long rest here in your demiplane, and we will pick up on briefly on Monday. To get you over to the place, and then we're going to be in all range mode.
There a button for that?